him.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. I have a simple message for you. If you or someone you love or someone you know has chronic pain, contact us. Treating chronic pain issues is what we do. We can make it better. Get an appointment and let's talk. MyPainChicago.com, MyPainChicago.com. All the info is available at MyPainChicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
5:09, a check of the roads this early morning. AM 560's Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike and Lyons. There's a crash on 1st Avenue at 44th Street. Injuries are involved, and units are there at the scene. Overnight roadwork is mostly cleared. There's still some construction on the outbound Bishop Ford Freeway. From the Rhine to King Drive, 2 right lanes are closed till 6 a.m. And there's work on the Indiana Toll Road eastbound past the West Point Toll Plaza to Wolf Lake. It's a center lane closure till 2 this afternoon. Traffic is a service of Target. It's Happy Deal Days at Target. Get Tide for $11.99, Charmin for $9.99, and Old Doritos on sale for $1.99. Happy Deal Days this week only at Target, where cart-stopping low prices and great deals meet. Prices may vary, some restrictions may apply. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answers starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. It comes from the AirComfort.com Weather Center, providing you with the right climate for business since 1935. And we get the latest with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Sunshine today with a high 57, clear night low 39, then sunshine tomorrow. Breezy day with wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour, a high 65, and a clear night tomorrow night with a low of 42. Partly sunny Friday, high 51. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
It is 41 at O'Hare, 46 along the lakefront, 39 this morning in Aurora. The cold spot, 34 in Lansing. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Ayn Rand Institute and the Yaron Brook Show. Heard Saturday afternoons at 4 here on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So Trump meets with President Obama today.
I can't wait. In a few hours, Dan.
Yeah, it's real exciting.
It is, because they loathe each other.
Yeah, we'll get to President Obama laying the groundwork for today's meeting, dulling the blade, if you will.
Do you think he'll bring his copy of his birth certificate? Like, oh, hey, this was real, by the way. Because, Trump, they did argue over that.
Yeah, that'd be the first time that he revealed his birth certificate. So, I mean, that could be a nice moment for the two of them. But before that, we have to go over Hillary Clinton's big speech. She finally emerged yesterday morning, a couple hours after our show ended, and conceded defeat and explained. Sorry,
I'm putting on my war paint.
Yeah.
My face is a little dry this morning, all right?
Oh, no,
and
sure.
I dropped something.
Yeah, well, at least you didn't do it in the car.
Exactly.
Keep making the roads
don't
unsafe. So she took to the dais and, was very much like Trump, gracious, I should say, not graceful, gracious, and dignified, and struck the right chords, I thought, generally speaking.
Last night, I congratulated Donald Trump and offered to work with him on behalf of our country. I hope that he will be a successful president for all Americans. This is not the outcome we wanted or we worked so hard for, and I'm sorry that we did not win this election for the values we share and the vision we hold for our country. But I feel pride and gratitude for this wonderful campaign that we built together.
And the whole crime family was assembled behind her.
Stop it! Can you?
And so which was nice. It's nice to have the entire crime family around you when the boss has to say, it didn't work out this time.
Well, I mean, she acknowledged the pain while wishing Trump well. I mean, it was hard. It was hard to watch. It was Tim Kaine started crying. Uma in the front row, she was crying. They did cutaway shots, action shots of people welling up.
Yeah, Tim Kaine is a big dink.
Tim
and Hillary also expressed what we owe Donald Trump from the left's perspective.
And if you do, then we must accept this result and then look to the future. Donald Trump is going to be our president. We owe him an open mind and the chance to lead.
So those were the right notes. That was the right note.
And when she said it, that's when it sank in for me personally that Donald Trump is going to be your president.
You didn't believe it was going to happen until she said it?
No, I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm just saying because I'm processing this. And when she said, I went, okay, all right, now we have to embrace the suck. Now we have to get behind Donald Trump and hope that he does a great job and hope that he does what he says he's going to do.
What's next for Clinton Inc., the Hillbilly House of Cards? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, because the cards have folded. Or have they? Then Hillary Clinton,
Well, she offered to help Donald Trump, too. I mean, when she came out and said...
Well, I'm good. I'm good.
No,
No,
he said,
I don't need that.
He said, I spoke with Donald Trump and offered my assistance to him.
Well, it's the pro forma lines that you are compelled to recite when you lose an election, particularly an election at this level. Then I thought she, had to go back to kind of Hillary and the whole. There's so little about her that's authentic. She closes the speech with her campaign slogan and, a ripped, tortured reference from Scripture.
Because I believe we are stronger together and we will go forward together. And you should never, ever regret fighting for that. Scripture tells us, let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart.
Amen.
So, my friends, let us have faith in each other. Let us not grow weary. Let us not lose heart. For there are more seasons to come, and there is more work to do.
For every season, turn. And she turned into a pillar of salt.
No, she did not. But, she kept mentioning about the glass ceiling. I mean, she rented a room
By
on
the way,
election night.
Did you get the scriptural reference?
I did. But she...
Do you know what it is?
No, just tell me.
No, I want you to look it up.
Okay, I will. I'm sure my pastor on Sunday is going to say the same exact thing.
I'm sure she
just said.
I'm sure she will.
No, she will.
She's about as familiar with the Bible, I think, as Hillary Clinton. It's Galatians, to give your pastor a little bit of a hint.
No, I'm just saying she'll probably repeat what Hillary just said, knowing I just have a feeling I can't wait to go to church on Sunday. But the reference to the glass ceiling said it's not her this time around that we're going to have a female president, but someday we will.
I know we have still not shattered that highest and hardest glass ceiling, but someday someone will, and hopefully sooner than we might think right now.
I'm just glad she didn't burn her bra. It had nothing to do with the glass ceiling. It has nothing to do with this country being prepared for a woman president. It has everything to do with this woman. That's the sanctimony and the disingenuous of all this glass ceiling blather, and that's what it is.
Well, she even rented a room that had a glass ceiling on Tuesday night. I mean, everything's a metaphor.
Proving my point.
Yeah.
312-642-5600. What do you think is next for the Clintons? Next for the Clintons?
I don't know, I got teary-eyed when she said,
gosh.
too, about never giving up hope. And young people, don't be discouraged by this election results.
And to the young people in particular, I hope you will hear this. I have, as Tim said, spent my entire adult life fighting for what I believe in. I've had successes and I've had setbacks, sometimes really painful ones. Many of you are at the beginning of your professional, public, and political careers. You will have successes and setbacks too. This loss hurts, but please never stop believing that fighting for what's right is worth it.
Now, once you start, the after-school special stuff is a little tiresome. It's great.
This is the end of her career. She's been a first lady. We've grown up watching her. She's been our first lady. She's been New York senator. She's been our secretary of state, and she wanted to be our president. And now she's done. She dropped the mic, left, went back to her home.
Is she done?
I don't know. 312-642-5600. I think she's done. I think that was her last hurrah, and the Clintons have closed a chapter on this country.
Yeah.
I don't think their speaking fees are going to be the same.
I think you have it reversed. Number one, the country closed the chapter on the Clintons.
Sure. All right.
Number two, let's remember something Peggy Noonan observed about the Clintons, because I think it's accurate. her lifetime of public service. Spare me. She spent 30 years enriching herself, leveraging our government for her personal enrichment and her power aggrandizement. Spare me the stylized version of history because she's existed for a long time. So have a lot of criminals before they got caught. Whitey Bulger was on the lam for a long time, too. Should we laud him? He finally got caught. Let's remember the great career of Whitey Bulger. He's done so much. Spent so many times in so many federal prisons. They are Bonnie and Clyde. That's what Peggy Noonan described. They're Bonnie and Clyde. They rob banks. That's what they do. So because we resisted the temptation to give them the keys to the largest bank in the world, doesn't mean that they stop robbing banks. Maybe they'll have to rob smaller banks. But they're still going to be who they are because you're not going to change two 70-year-old, craven, disingenuous, socialist 60s refugees into people they're not. That's who they are. And we'll see if Chelsea decides to,
to enter the political realm.
Yeah, Steve Austin in Wisconsin tweeted, I think we're done with them finally. Chelsea isn't talented enough nor photogenic enough to run for much. It's over. And I reminded him, since when does talent or being photogenic have anything to do with running for office? Take a look at Congress's class picture. Kevin in Libertyville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, guys. How are you? Hey, a couple of things real quick in the wake of the news, so to speak. I think it's more than likely that Kasich is probably going to face a challenge in the primary in Ohio. And I think both Bush presidents, with a single non-stroke of their pen, have irreparably damaged their legacy. The other good thing that hasn't really been talked about too terribly much is the fact that Lois Lerner, she's going to go down because that whole thing is going to be opened up again. And I know, Dan, how much, vitriol we have for the Cubs, and it's very difficult to hate them because a lot of them are good guys, and Arrieta made it even more difficult to hate them yesterday with his tweet.
Yep.
But like my dad always used to say, sometimes in life the good things aren't always easy. So we're just gonna have to try harder to hate them. But you guys have a great day.
Thanks for the call, Kevin. What was Arrieta's tweet?
He said, "Time for Hollywood to pony up and head for the border."
I love it.
Yeah, he said that was when he got a lot more followers after that. Oh, and by the way, Canadian immigration website yesterday crashed.
Yeah,
crashed.
Jake, well, that's because two people tried to log on.
No, it was four.
Jake Arrieta's my new favorite Cub.
Oh, good.
So
I'm
you
glad.
can put that doll back in the studio.
Oh, okay, thanks.
In terms of Lois Lerner being prosecuted and Josh Koskinen being impeached and perhaps prosecuted, those would be very good developments. We'll have to get Peter Roskam back on the show to talk about that because he's been on that case for, the duration of the last year and a half. And those are some important prosecutions, too. In addition to the question about a special prosecutor for Hillary Clinton, do we reopen that case or do we let sleeping dogs lie? Do we let it dissipate into the ether? Do we let her go off on her merry way?
And real quick, at the end of his tweet, he put hashtag I'll help you pack, hashtag beat it.
Love Jake Arrieta. I have to. Maybe the Sox can sign him. Dan in Round Lake.
Hello, Dan. This is Dan. I had a suggestion for President Trump. I think he should be gracious and offer an ambassadorship to Hillary Clinton.
And which ambassadorship? Which ambassadorship?
An ambassadorship to Libya.
There you go.
Oh.
There you go. Thanks for the call, Dan.
We'll keep her away from Bill.
Irony is fun, but I don't think we should make foreign policy decisions to be ironic and
I know, but
make a point.
Do you think people are going to donate money to the Clinton Foundation now? Do you think that their speaking fees are going to remain as high as they were? Because I think they're good. Before she was Secretary of State, it was about 100, 200,000. Then when she became Secretary of State, it inflated to what, 600, 700,000 sometimes even $1 million?
I think they're going to come down a bit.
You think so? Maybe?
Maybe not at universities, but in terms of contributions and speaking fees from big banks and Islamic despots, I think those are going to come down. Rick in Westchester.
Hey, good morning. I just want to throw out that Hillary may be done, but I don't think she's done doing, and that doing will be hopefully time in a federal penitentiary.
There you go. Thanks Rick. Ed in Oak Brook. In St. Charles, I mean. Sorry.
Hillary's next role is that of defendant. I want the emails investigated because I want to find out what Barack Obama and perhaps Michelle Obama had to do with all of this. I'm worried about her run in 4 years.
Thanks for the call.
Michelle
No.
Obama is never, ever, ever running for office.
Yeah.
So everybody get that out of their heads right now. That's not going to happen.
I agree with that. That is a big open question, though. Do you want to let this sore heal, or do you want to rip it open? And that's with respect to going after Hillary Clinton and appointing or suggesting to your next attorney general the appointment of a special prosecutor to investigate her use of that homebrew server and all of the other criminal activity. That is a big pending question. That will, I think it's tempting to want to do that. I think there's good arguments, like the rule of law, to want to do that. But if you do that, that will distract from any type of first 100 days policy agenda. Understand that. And it could also turn out to be a bit of a referendum on the midterm elections with a slim majority in the Senate, for example. So you want to think about all of the implications to this, as tempting a target as Hillary Clinton continues to be.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
And none of those Hollywood yuckity yucks are going to move.
It's all just cheap talk. That's what they do. That's what they get paid for.
Ugh, so insufferable. Today, breezy, but plenty of sunshine. It's a little chilly right now, but going up to a high of 65 degrees. Tonight, clear and breezy, a low of 44. And for Friday, woohoo, partly sunny and breezy, a high of 51 degrees. Let's get those travel times and say good morning to Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Lions had a crash with injuries on 1st Avenue at 44th Street. We're seeing mild delays now on the inbound Stevenson, Pulaski to Kedzie, on the inbound Ride from 18th into downtown, at I-57 at the Bishop Ford. Both have 3-minute delays approaching the Ryan. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
I love Jake Arrieta.
I do.
When you think you can't love him anymore after that Sports Illustrated issue.
You love him a little bit more. And speaking of Jake Arrieta,
Yeah.
gentlemen, it's Movember. Yes, another month to remind us to take better care of our health. Many of us are going to grow mustaches or full beards like Jake Arrieta. But hey, why not go to a doctor you can trust too? I personally recommend going to the licensed medical providers at the Low T Center. They're friends of mine you can trust. At Low T Center, they know we hate going to the doctor. That's why they make it quick and easy. And with their on-site lab, you'll get your results back in 20 minutes. They even accept most health insurance and have flexible hours, including Saturday hours. And right now, in honor of Movember, Low T Center is offering a testosterone and prostate level test for just $50. It's a great time to get your levels checked, especially if you don't have insurance or if you haven't made your deductible yet. So call 630-409-4305. That's 630-409-4305. Give my friends at Low T Center a call and tell them Dan Prof sent you. That's me. Call 630-409-4305 or go to lowtcenter.com.
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now. I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And then my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing. And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that that could be my reality.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
So in addition to Hillary's conciliatory words, here's another hopeful note, Amy.
Yeah.
And it comes from none other than the cast of The View. One cast member in particular, they're indistinguishable to me, but this one calls herself Sarah Haynes.
Because that's her name, and she does the pop culture segment on Good Morning America on the weekends.
Well, I mean, just...
and I like her. She's nice. She's born and raised in Iowa.
You actually got a reflective moment from her, a little bit of self-awareness. Listen to this.
The only thing that I think the scary part for me was maybe being caught off guard that I wasn't in touch with the country I live in, and that maybe I am in a bubble. When critics come out on social media and say you don't know what the world's about, sadly now I woke up and I thought maybe I don't. Like it really was like a punch in the gut.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's good if this gets people to reflect on the world in which they live and their understanding of it. Then that's been a positive development. And if you can penetrate the consciousness of a cast member of The View, then there's hope for everyone.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Peter forgot to order supplies for the office, and the boss is not happy.
Peter, we're out of toilet paper.
I'm sorry, boss. I'll order supplies right now. They should be here by next week.
Next week?
Peter really needs to call Combined Sales. Combined Sales has the products and solutions your business can't live without. From paper to pens, packaging, janitorial and safety supplies, and food service, Combined Sales to the rescue. They're local and can get you the supplies needed to keep your business running smoothly, fast, and at a great price. Plus, you'll deal with real people, not just another faceless internet site. You'll have an outside rep, an inside rep, and a customer service rep. Right now, Combined Sales has a presidential offer for new customers. This is huge. Open a business account today, order $500 in supplies, and you'll earn 5% in Co-op reward dollars on all purchases for the next 3 months. Plus, receive a bonus $50 Co-op reward. Request an account set up today at CombinedSales.com. CombinedSales.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
You know how Spirit Airlines always has these funny, hip advertisements? They have a head north to Canada. We welcome you. You can get a one-way ticket.
I like it. Is there a
Awesome.
special rate for Hollywood elites?
75% off sale.
Oh, good.
Pretty big deal.
I think Alec Baldwin can afford that.
Coming up next on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Protests around the nation, including right here in Chicago.
Yeah, the kiddies aren't happy. Oh, but first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. 42 degrees, and this morning we're following developments near Pittsburgh where police are hunting for a shooter or shooters who shot 2 police officers early this morning. They were shot during a SWAT situation in the town of Canonsburg, about 20 miles southwest of Pittsburgh. All police are telling us right now is that both officers remain hospitalized. Protests against President-elect Donald Trump filled the night in a few major cities across the U.S. Thousands of protesters marched through Chicago's Loop last night. Outside the Trump Tower, a gathering of those expressing their disapproval of the election of Donald Trump.
I don't stand behind that. I don't want him to be my president.
I was speaking last night with a very old friend of mine who's a Muslim. He has children, and he's scared to death.
Thousands of protesters gathered, saying no Trump and not my president. For a time, protesters did make their way onto Lakeshore Drive, blocking traffic. President Obama wishing President-elect Trump well. He'll meet with him today.
I had a chance to talk to President-elect Trump last night, about 3:30 in the morning, I think it was, to congratulate him on winning the election.
Meantime, the Cleveland Cavaliers will visit the White House today, the president honoring the Cavs and their NBA championship. We're following developments near San Diego as 2 Marine Corps pilots are in the hospital after their fighter jets slammed into one another off the coast. Officials at Marine Corps Air Station Miramar say the mid-air collision between the 2 FA-18 Hornets remains under investigation. The Cook County Board is expected to vote today on whether to place a tax on sugary beverages. The pending announced tax would include drinks with 0-calorie sweeteners like diet soda. And in yesterday's massive amount of information about elections, you may have missed this. Cook County voters are choosing to eliminate the Recorder of Deeds office, folding its functions into the county clerk's office. The binding referendum passed by a 2-1 margin, despite opposition from African-American supporters of current office holder Karen Yarborough. Atlanta beat the Bulls 115-107. It was the Blackhawks over the Blues 2-1 in OT. And the news is a service of Subway. Kick off the season with a feast catered by Subway restaurants featuring giant subs. Also, sandwich platters and sides help you do game day right. Place your order today. Please allow 24-hour notice for giant sub orders. 5:34, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
If you're looking to relieve symptoms or support your well-being, head to Walgreens for brands you need like Advil, Robitussin, Emergency, and Nexium 24-Hour, and take your health in your own hands. It's your wellness. Own it.
Hi, I'm Tom Sadeka, President and CEO of Precision Payroll of America. I'm reaching out to you today and asking you to take a look at your business relationships from a different angle. Have you ever wondered what organizations and causes your vendors support? I have, and it's eye-opening. Our nation is divided, and normal, traditional values are coming under attack by heavily financed aggressors. I can tell you that we do not and will never support hood and matter. We do support our veterans, our students fighting for truth, and yes, AM 560. If you currently use or need a payroll service, please let's meet. If you have no need, please consider the other advertisers on this station, as we are all fighting the same fight and we need to unite. To work together, call me at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507. On the web at precisionpayroll.com. Let's talk, let's meet, let's unite.
5:35. Let's get an update on the roads. Here's AM 560's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Stevenson, traffic is slow first, approaching 53, then from Lamont Road to Cass and Cicero to Pulaski. 37 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 34. Edens is fine, the Kennedy as well. And Van Eisenhower just a little congested past Wolf Road. The Ryan, it's 18 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 23 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Vision 420. Tollways are still okay. Traffic is a service of TrueCar. Save time and money by downloading TrueCar's mobile app. Configure the new car you want, see what others paid for it, get guaranteed savings. TrueCar users save on average over $3,000 off MSRP. Save time and save money. Download the TrueCar app today. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, a breezy day ahead, plenty of sunshine. There are some areas that may top out near 65 this afternoon. Clear and breezy, low 44 overnight. 41 at O'Hare. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Innovative Networks. Communication, technology, and reliability for Chicagoland business. Online at go4inet.com.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, George Soros paid for and his goons organized some protests around the country, apparently.
They had 25 protests. I mean, L.A., New York, Boston, Philly, Austin, Seattle, Portland, here in Chicago, and in
all
New York.
Spontaneous.
Yeah, all the same. Yeah, no, they
no.
It was a call to action. They decided we're all
not spontaneous.
They all protested last night. They decided obviously it was planned.
Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah, and 12 people were arrested in New York. Guess who was out there with them? Who was fighting the fight? Who was down with the struggle, Dan?
Lady Gaga.
Yeah. So you saw the video.
I get around.
She didn't get arrested though, but people are not having, Dan, they can't understand what happened here. Why isn't Hillary in office?
Hillary had more votes. More human beings voted for Hillary. This isn't fair. This country needs you to stand up and walk into the Supreme Court and say one vote equals one vote.
That's how it works. This guy didn't even get past the conjunction junction. What's your function on the Saturday morning?
He was in Chicago, too. That guy.
We send him the How a Bill Becomes a Law cartoon before we get...
I'm just a bill.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm only a bill.
We'll have to get to the Supreme Court much later. He's got to work
He's a little off. Well, because Hillary Clinton, as you predicted and as you wanted, Dan, she won the popular vote. But Trump won in the electoral votes. And, so from Chicago to New York.
You saw this incredibly qualified woman to be president being superseded by a man who has no qualifications at all for the office.
No.
Yeah. But my favorite
People disagreed.
So they're burning, a Trump had an effigy. They're lighting Make America Great hats on fire. But in Sacramento, the kids, this is great. The kiddies, I guess they ran out of supplies. So they had paper plates and they just wrote in red marker, no. Walking around, no, this isn't happening. Yeah. Well, yes, it is happening.
And then, of course, you had the competing chants. because they're very rhythmic people, these bedwetting agitators, like here in Chicago. You get it. Move, blank, get out the way. We want a president, not a effing racist. Those kinds of things, they're very persuasive.
But what pisses me, what makes me very, very angry
Now you're
is
talking
when
like one of them.
they stop traffic, especially on Lakeshore Drive. I mean, they stop traffic in both directions.
Fortunately,
You're
I
gonna
was
listen to me.
already in my ivory tower at that point, so it didn't impact my life.
I was concerned, but you get a bird's eye view of the little kitties down there that are so angry.
Yeah,
I mean, What do they think's going to happen?
I don't know, but I enjoyed the theater while I was sipping a martini, having a celebratory cigar, in my well-appointed condo. But I'm very much in touch with them.
Did you yell, "Hey, kitties, watch out for the car"?
Oh,
blah, blah.
It's interesting. Chicago athletes speaking out. We just talked about Jake Arrieta. How about Ryan Mundy? Did you see what Ryan Mundy wrote? Former Bear.
Oh, sure. Ryan Mundy,
Well,
that guy.
Clearly there's another America existing that, due to algorithms, we have become unaware of. There are outliers here and there, but generally your social media interactions are with people who are just like you and share similar views. So I believe it's a shock to a lot of people that Trump won because they became victim to a limited view of the world. Get out of your bubble, learn, grow, experience. Becoming insulated leads to a major blind spot. I mean, that sounds like something that I'd read from Victor Davis Hanson.
Right.
Ryan Mundy, how about that?
Good for him.
That's it, Ryan Mundy. Well said, my friend.
But Jake Arrieta is taking so much heat on Twitter. It's really...
He knew he was going to take heat. That's why it's great that he said what he had to say. I love it.
People saying, I know now why I'm a Cardinal fan.
Yeah, it's almost enough to make me become a Cubs fan, almost.
Good. I'm glad you're coming over to the other side. And real quick, one woman said, as a woman, I'm really disappointed in this tweet, Jake. People are hurting today.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, these are individuals who are impenetrable to market feedback. Impenetrable to market feedback. You know who else is impenetrable to market feedback?
And I have no idea, but it sounds fun.
Academia.
Oh, yes. Okay, so today at UIC, we got a letter from a listener whose son goes to UIC, University of Illinois, Chicago. They're having coping counselors.
Mhm.
That's what they're calling them to
Yeah.
cope with the election results. Here's what you can do. You can go to a Find Comfort spot. There's 3 places available throughout the day. There's one at the Solidarity Hour Gender Woman Study Hall. And there's also one on West Oregon Street. So you can go from 9 to 11 or from 12:30 to 5 p.m. That's how long they're open for people to cope with Donald Trump being the president-elect.
Maybe the first thing Trump should do is sign an executive order eliminating Sally Mae. Here, also this from President Shapiro. Mort Shapiro, the president of Northwestern University.
Oh, your alma mater.
He penned a memo to the Northwestern community.
What does he say?
The results of yesterday's presidential election surprised almost everyone, including those of us in the Northwestern community. For some, it may have been a pleasant surprise, but for others, it undoubtedly is a cause of great concern. And for many, it brought a sense of relief that this bitter and divisive campaign is finally over. Northwestern is committed to being a welcoming and inclusive community for all, regardless of beliefs, and I assure you that will not change. And he goes on to say, several organizations and officers on our campus are already offering opportunities to reflect on yesterday's election and to offer support for members of the community. Who needs a hug? I know that this will continue in a variety of ways this week and beyond, and I encourage you to participate in these discussions. Do you think this type of deep thoughts with Jack Handey, Stuart Smalley pablum would have been penned if Hillary Clinton had won? Do you think UIC would have comfort centers for Trump supporters, the handful of Trump supporters on campus if Hillary Clinton had won? Oh boy, the infantilization of America.
And this woman that wrote to tell us about her son in his safe space to cope with this, She wrote, it's good things these elitist moron professors and administrators assume all college students are as unhinged as they are. My son found comfort in the election results as soon as he heard Trump won.
There you go.
You should shake things up and go in there to the comfort zone. Dun, dun, dun.
Exactly, when they're asleep. Oh, yeah. Right, in permanent marker, Trump Pence on their foreheads. Tony on the south side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. Listen, one of the reasons why I voted for Trump was exactly this. These petulant, coddled, insipid little brats, just when they don't get their way, they start crying and moaning. So maybe now that we have somebody who's got a little bit of a backbone in office, and you're going to tell them this is what it is, maybe now they'll see that they got to put their big boy pants on and start dealing with those consequences of an election. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Tony. Mike on the north side.
Good morning, Dan. We have to look at the other side. These kids are right. Trump's a Nazi. Now, remember, Nazis wanted complete government control over every aspect of your life, unlike the Democrats. So let's start to get the government out of education. No more Pell Grants. No more college loans. You pay for your philosophy degree yourself, okay? Then you can become an Uber driver. And while you're there crying and whining, why don't you walk over to the Newman Center? That's where the priests are. And they'll let you know that the Vatican called. The books are closed. They're not making any saints or martyrs this week. Quit your whining.
Thanks for the call, Mike. For an alternative view, Philip in Blue Island.
Good morning. Good morning. As far as diversity, we already see that Trump is basically going to go with a pretty much all-white cabinet with the Cheneys and
Cheney's going to be in his cabinet? Really? Cheney's going to be in his cabinet? Really?
Cheney's not going to be in his cabinet. You mean Newt Gingrich?
Diversity, he's already said how he doesn't like Mexicans, blacks.
I just said nothing of the sort, Philip. Come on.
See, what do you mean? What world are you living in? And then just
the
look
real
at
one?
who's on the stage with him. Look who has been advocating for him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially Giuliani and the governor of New Jersey and people of that ilk. Oh, come on, be for real. There's not going to be any diversity.
No diversity.
In any Trump administration.
No,
period.
I know. Thanks for the call, Philip. Here's the thing about diversity.
It's an old wooden ship.
Yes,
right?
That's one point. Yes, that is correct. It is. That's a historical perspective that you offered. Appreciate that. But in addition to that, one of the great lies of the Obama years is that somehow diversity needs a steward. Diversity exists in nature. It doesn't. It's like change. Change doesn't need a chaperone. It just happens, and it happened again on Tuesday night. In terms of diversity in the cabinet, like that's so reflective of everything. The people who want a colorblind society but obsessed with counting by race, like Philip in Blue Island. I mean, Dr. Ben Carson.
Dr. Ben Carson will be in.
He's on the list.
And your friend Steve Cortez, the Trump surrogate, he might be press secretary.
Well,
he's not a cabinet member, but I don't.
I don't know what role Steve will have, but he was a Trump surrogate. He's got Hispanic advisory councils and female advisory councils and all the
African American advisory councils,
all the identity councils. And you know what? I'm tired of it all. We don't need identity councils. We don't need to be obsessed about race and gender. If one hope in terms of the cultural change is that we can stop or at least start to minimize identity politics. Identity politics is what's divisive. You think it's unifying, Philip in Blue Island and you other leftists? That's what's divisive. I'm the everything I am is my gender. Everything I am is my race. Is that really what you believe? Then why do you obsess about it so much if you don't? John in Melrose Park.
Hi, Dan. Hi, Amy. Good to talk to you. Yesterday, my wife is a nursing student in her graduate degree at Aurora University. And yesterday, she got an email from the university saying that counseling is being offered. And I'm thinking, you should go there and you should tell them, I want counseling. How can we have two Democratic senators from one state? This is crazy.
Thanks. Your wife should offer the counseling. Thanks for the call, John. Paul in New Lenox.
Hey, great show, guys. Always. Hey, I grew up in when John Wayne was still on the big screen and worked in the construction arena. When somebody feels hurt, you have to fill out a hurt feelings report. I don't know if you ever Googled one or ever looked at one, but it's hilarious. Go ahead, download it, and then maybe read it on the radio. But I think every one of the protesters need to fill one out.
A hurt feelings report.
Hey.
Yeah,
Oh,
thanks
it's
for the
great.
call. One of the other
That's a
things,
good
too,
idea.
I like that. Perhaps that could be another agency in the city of Chicago. Also, I'd love to hear from police officers who were working last night in Chicago and dealing with some of the protesters. I know there were some skirmishes when protesters tried to break through the police's skirmish line in front of Trump Tower.
Leave Dwayne Wade's mother alone.
Yeah, right. Larry and Bartlett.
Hey, how about Lieutenant Colonel Alan West for Secretary of Defense, huh?
I second the motion. Thanks, Larry.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Plenty of sunshine today. Just a gorgeous day. A high of 65 degrees. Unseasonably warm for this time of year. And then tomorrow, partly sunny, breezy. Back down to normal, a high of 51. Let's get those travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Well, thanks, Amy. Fortunately, nothing too difficult to cope with, I don't think, on the expressways right now. The Kennedy is just 21 minutes either way between O'Hare and downtown. It's just a 1-minute delay, inbound or outbound. The Edens is still clear. The Eisenhower, just a 1 or 2 minute delay through the avenues. The outbound side is fine. Down Stevenson, now 39 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound fine at 34. Ryan is 19 minutes, 95th to downtown. Getting a little congested on inbound I-57. Delays start at 119th. 25 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop 420. Northbound Tri-State heavy from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Their tollways are good. Northwest Indiana, all clear. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now. I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And then my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing. And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that that could be my reality.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance, but they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz at Automated Systems, when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing, compliance, or automation evaluation, call Laz now at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or AutomatedSYS.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, Following on those protesters, those ill-tempered, overeducated
Well, they're pouting right now.
protesters.
And they're in shock and they don't know how to do it and then to take it to the streets.
Well, and it was ill-tempered, overeducated protesters. There were also some young people. I want to read you a couple of quotes.
Okay.
Just following off on that. We sometimes have the feeling that we are living in the time preceding the election of Adolf Hitler as Chancellor of Germany. Voters who supported him were like the good Germans in Hitler's Germany. The worst nightmares of the American left appear to have come true. When you consider the climate we're in, rising violence, the Ku Klux Klan, it's exceedingly frightening. He is as unscrupulous and irresponsible as Hitler. In a sense, he is potentially more dangerous than the German Nazi leader because he has a much more powerful military arsenal at his disposal, including nuclear weapons. Those are all the quotes about the president-elect of the United States, Ronald Reagan. This was the left's reaction to Ronald Reagan's election in 1980, and this comes to us from Stephen Hayward's book, The Great Liberal Freakout, and reposted by our friend Mark Perry over at Carpe Diem. So I just want you to...
history's a little bit repeating itself?
I just want you to understand, the left never changes their tune. Everybody who doesn't agree with them is a Nazi. They are the intolerant. They are the thugs. They are the ill-tempered and overeducated busybodies who want to run your lives and roll over anybody who disagrees. Everybody else is a Nazi or ignorant, and the world is coming to an end when these overgrown adolescents don't get their way. So what you see on the streets yesterday, nothing new from the left.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gavalis, Joshi, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
Hey, ChicagoRadioDeals.com saves you money so you'll have room for improvement, home improvement. The Grout Medic is offering shower touch-ups for only $110. I use Grout Medic. I love them. It really made my shower and tub area look like brand new again. It is a steam cleaning and sanitizing process on all your tile surfaces. The Grout Medic also will reseal your grout, hand buff the tiles, and replace the caulk. It's a $250 value. And wait until you see the before and after results. Really, it is a picture you can post on your Instagram. Also from the Grout Medic is a clean and color seal floor cleaning. This includes steam cleaning your grout, washing the tiles, and applying a color sealer to match. This process normally retails for $250. It's only $110 at ChicagoRadioDeals.com. So make your way to ChicagoRadioDeals.com for huge savings on air duct cleaning and dryer vent cleaning from Royal Air. Their certificates also to Addison Supply and much more. Find it all at ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
This is Bob.
Hi, I'm Bob.
His company put their trust in Air Comfort to keep their business running cool all summer. Bob knows the value of proper chiller maintenance that includes end-of-season service, so he'll be ready for next summer.
I'm ready.
Dave, on the other hand, thought he could put off servicing his chiller at the end of last season and had 3 complete shutdowns this summer. Needless to say, his staff and customers were not happy. Moral of the story? Preventative maintenance will save you time, money, and trouble. As the hot weather ends, you need maintenance on your chiller before the start of next season. Air Comfort has one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with a dedicated factory-trained chiller department that takes a scientific approach to analyzing your system and determining any needed maintenance. They know how to work on large equipment, perform an analysis of your chiller, and get you ready for next season. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
My name is David Hochberg, Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. I'm working with the Associated Firefighters of Illinois Warrior Program to give a new car to an Afghan war veteran who lost both his legs serving our country. The recipient of the car is a single Army veteran and father of two beautiful daughters whose Humvee was destroyed by an improvised explosive device. The first thing out of the Army veteran's mouth when he came to after having both his legs amputated was how the other three guys in the Humvee were doing. The other three soldiers sustained injuries and survived. The Associated Firefighters of Illinois and I need your help raising 38 G's by this Thursday to cover the cost of the car. To help accomplish our goal, I'm matching the first $5,000 raised. To help us raise 38 G's, go to pearldavid.com and click on the donate button. 100% of the money raised will go toward the car. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358, RMLA, and MLS 19186.
I'm Mike Scott here with the stories we're watching. Anti-Trump protesters march in Chicago. Blackhawks beat the Blues. WIND Chicago News Time, 6.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. They're angry Donald Trump's been elected. From Texas to New York. Thousands out protesting nationwide. Some hung or burned him in effigy or burned the flag.
He's not my president! He's not my president!
That's in Oakland where fires were set and there was vandalism. Some blocked traffic in highways in different cities. There have been dozens of arrests.
I was speaking last night with a very old friend of mine who's a Muslim. He has children, and he's scared to death.
He's in Chicago. In Oregon, a Trump supporter was chased and someone threw a skateboard that hit him in the back. Then others intervened to help. Now, Donald Trump's been quiet since his victory party, not even tweeting. Today, the Republican will go to the White House. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the president-elect and wife Melania Trump will visit the place they'll soon call home. Yesterday in the Rose Garden, President Obama vowed to do everything he can to ensure a smooth transition to a Trump administration.
Peaceful transition of power is one of the hallmarks of our democracy. And over the next few months, we are going to show that to the world.
The president and Mr. Trump will sit down in the Oval Office. First Lady Michelle Obama will meet with Mrs. Trump in the White House residence. Dave.
Right to the lawsuit against Trump University returns to court today. The federal judge who the Republican accused of having bias against him because of his Mexican heritage will hold a hearing on jury instructions, what evidence will be allowed at trial as well. Later this month, the president-elect may be called to testify. 2 police officers were shot early this morning in Pennsylvania. Both are hospitalized. We don't know their conditions, and there is a manhunt for the gunman. They're also searching for a gunman who injured 5 people in a shooting in Seattle.
I just heard a lot of shots and customers running in. One customer saying he had been shot. I told everybody just to get down and looked out. There's multiple people down and bleeding, and I locked the door.
Well, the shooting happened outside a convenience store. 2 of the victims are said to be critical but stable. This is Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Skies are partly cloudy, 43 degrees. It is 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago, one of several cities where young people gathered to protest the election of Donald Trump to president. David Stewart has the very latest from the streets of downtown Chicago.
Don't give in to racist spirit.
The crowd started with just a handful of people near the Trump Tower, but built to more than 1,000, many carrying signs saying, "Not my president," or chanting against Donald Trump's comments about Muslims and immigrants. Police worked to contain the crowd near the hotel and condo, but soon had to close Wabash Avenue as the crowd took over the street and marched down nearby alleys in an effort to elude the cops, one of whom called attention to himself by wearing a Trump button on his uniform hat. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
And on the 5th floor of City Hall, Mayor Emanuel said yesterday he doesn't believe President-elect Trump will try to penalize Chicago for opposing his candidacy.
Cities today are the major economic, cultural, and intellectual energy of the economy. And it's incumbent upon an administration to see that strength and invest in it.
The mayor was outspoken in his support for Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton. Governor Rauner went out of his way to avoid saying Donald Trump's name during the campaign and is not including the president-elect's name in his post-election message. Rauner issuing a statement calling on Illinois residents to put the election behind us. The election bring a slight but important power shift in Springfield. Spending tens of millions of his own dollars, Governor Rauner was able to secure 3 seats in the Illinois House, eliminating Speaker Michael Madigan's veto-proof majority. Cook County voters choosing to eliminate the Recorder of Deeds office, folding its functions into the county clerk's office. County board today expected to vote on whether to place a tax on sugary beverages. The penny an ounce tax would include drinks with 0-calorie sweeteners like diet soda. Right now, the issue has a 1-vote advantage heading into that vote. Chicago sports, Atlanta over the Bulls, 115-107. NHL, Artemi Panarin scores 25 seconds into the extra period, and the Blackhawks beat the Blues in St. Louis 2-1. The news, a service of Firestone Complete Auto Care. Be prepared for winter, spring, summer, and fall with Firestone FR710 all-season tires. Now 10% off at Firestone Complete Auto Care. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The voters have spoken, and after a long and contentious campaign, Donald Trump has been elected our 45th president.
Now it's time for America to bind the wounds of division.
What happens next for America?
We will begin the urgent task of rebuilding our nation and renewing the American dream.
Happens here.
It's going to be a beautiful thing.
This is AM 560.
Nothing we want for our future is beyond our reach.
The Answer.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. See website for details.
Need some extra cash today? Do you have bad credit or maxed out credit cards? If so, turn your radio up. 35cash.com is one of the nation's largest personal loan networks with over 50 different lenders. Now you can get a personal loan for up to $5,000 with any type of credit discreetly from your computer or smartphone and with no paperwork to send in. That's right, no paperwork whatsoever. Your cash will hit your bank account as soon as tomorrow, as our lenders have millions of dollars to lend regardless of your credit history. Visit 35cash.com and you can have up to $5,000 in no time. Just have a checking account and a regular source of income, and you can get the loan you need now, regardless of your credit. Go to 35cash.com from your smartphone or computer to get the cash you need. Visit 35cash.com. Type www.35cash.com directly into the address bar. That's 35cash.com. 35cash.com.
It is 6:06 and a busy morning shaping up on our roads. We get the latest in the traffic center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. It's very busy on the eastbound Adams Tollway. Jam-packed from the Tri-State to the River Road Toll Plaza onto the Kennedy. For delays continue from that toll plaza at Cumberland. 23 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 24 is the Lawrence to Sayre. Edens is 5 at the inbound Eisenhower. 38 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 30. Stevenson now 42 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Bryan 22 minutes. 95th to downtown. Tri-State northbound, heavy from the ring until into the Eisenhower. And then farther north from 21 to Washington, there's a crash in the 2 left lanes. Traffic is a service of Accountemps. Do you know what you should be making? Visit Accountemps.com/salary center to see salaries for more than 400 accounting and finance jobs where you live. It's your go-to source for accounting and finance salary information. Accountemps, a Robert Half company. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. The latest with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Windy today with plenty of sunshine, high 65. Clear skies tonight and breezy, low 44. Partly sunny and breezy tomorrow, high 51. Plenty of sunshine for Saturday, high 52. And plenty of sunshine Sunday, high 60. I'm Ashley Benoit on AM 560, The Answer.
41 at O'Hare, 46 along Chicago's lakefront. No, that was not Kevin Snyder. We'll see what the day holds with winds out of the west at 8. Next news at 6:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Donald Trump is going to be our president. We owe him an open mind and the chance to lead.
So I have instructed my team to follow the example that President Bush's team set 8 years ago and work as hard as we can to make sure that this is a successful transition for the president-elect.
Donald Trump heard a voice out in this country that no one else heard. He connected in ways with people no one else did.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So,
oh yeah,
the BuzzFeed leaked a alleged list of possible cabinet nominees. All the cabinet positions, multiple names for each, kind of a short list, if you will.
What are you liking that you're seeing so far?
Well, there's a lot. Interesting Treasury Secretary.
Do you have Carl Icahn?
He has Carl Icahn as a possibility. Banker Steve Mnuchin, who is like one of his fundraising impresarios, and Texas Representative Jeb Hensarling. Those are the three on the short list. Now, there's also the response that this list may not be complete and may evolve over time in the transition. But it's interesting. Somebody who is likely to be, I've nominated him.
Yeah, what?
The chairman of the President's Council of Economic Advisors. He's Heritage Foundation economist and Donald Trump economic advisor, Stephen Moore, joins us now. Steve, thanks for being with us.
Hey, guys.
Hey, congratulations.
Sorry, I missed you yesterday. I slept, I got about 2.5 hours sleep.
Welcome to the club. Yeah.
So anyway, what a night. Incredible. I mean, what a week. Jesus. I mean, my God, the Cubs win the World Series and Donald Trump is the president. It just doesn't, you could kill me now.
Well, those are
everything I want in my life.
Two horsemen of the apocalypse.
It's an amazing run.
And so now look forward, enough of the celebrating. It's 48 hours. We got to get to work. The transition is.
Hell no. I'm going to be celebrating first. No, it's true. We don't have a lot of time. I mean, look, there's only, 45 days or something like that until, the new president, Donald Trump, takes office, and we want to hit the ground running. We want executive orders on his desk the day he enters office. We can repeal the clean power plant rule so we can put our coal miners back to work. We want to get that tax cut done that we've talked about on this show that I helped design with Larry Kudlow. We want to get that done in the first 100 days. We consider that a real economic stimulus. We want to see
Keystone Pipeline,
Obamacare repealed. Every word of it, and real choice economics. I mean, this was a consequential election. I got to tell you guys, I mean, the thing I really enjoyed about working with Donald Trump over the last 6 months was just meeting the most amazing people. And, I'm talking about the Trump supporters, and you could just see it out there. You could, as you played that clip from Paul Ryan, Donald Trump really did see something out there in the voters that nobody else saw, which was a rage. This was a backlash against Obama's policies, and it was a backlash against Republicans, quite frankly, that in Congress who never seem to do what they say they're going to do. So I'm really so proud to have been part of this. Whether I go into the administration or not, I honestly don't know. I don't crave a government job by any means, but I would love to see this tax cut get passed quickly.
All right, so TPP is dead in the water?
Say again?
TPP. Do you think it is dead in the water, or what's the future of that bill?
Sorry, I couldn't quite hear you.
The Trans-Pacific Partnership. Yeah. What happens that?
Oh, the trade deal?
Yeah.
Oh, well, look, Trump basically ran on a policy of renegotiate these trade deals, and I believe he is going to do that. I believe he is going to, but look, here's my point, and this is the point Larry Kudlow and I make all the time, and it's important because I'm a free trader. You guys know this, and I've always made the case that what we need to do is fix the tax system, for goodness sakes, and get the regulations up for our businesses. And if you do those two things, if you get the tax burden down like we're talking about, where we have the lowest business taxes in the world, and then you get the regulatory burden off the back of our businesses, then Amy, these jobs are coming back. These factories are going to come back. It happened in the Reagan years. We got $1 trillion of net investment in the United States when the tax rates came down. So this is a big deal. I think tariffs are the wrong thing, and I'll be advocating for not tariffs but tax reductions.
Give us your review of these names that have bubbled to the surface regarding Treasury Secretary. I can't imagine he'd do it, but Carl Icahn, Jeb Hensarling, Congressman, and Steve Mnuchin, the banker.
Yeah. So I've been working pretty closely with the guy you mentioned, Steve Mnuchin. He worked with Larry and I on the tax plan, and a great, smart guy. I like him a lot. Carl Icahn, of course, is a legend. He'd be fantastic, and I think either one of those two. I think those are the two inside tracks. Well, there's another guy named Wilbur Ross, who is a billionaire investor who is extremely successful. And look, I think Trump. I know there are people who are skeptical about Trump out there, and I don't always love everything about Trump. Who does? But he does surround himself with really good people, and that is a real asset of his. And you can't be successful in business the way he has been without putting yourself around really, really talented people, and so I'm very comfortable with any one of those three as Treasury Secretary.
What about over at Commerce?
The Commerce, we're getting rid of the damn Commerce
Well,
Department.
that'd be great.
We're going to have a Commerce Department. We're going to have an Agriculture Department.
Okay.
A Labor Department.
All right. Okay. We'll see about that.
We're calling this the Incheon Landing when we...
Oh, yeah. I'd love if that were true. I suspect it's not going to be, but for Commerce, let's say...
Deanna, are you going soft on me? Come on. What do we need a Commerce Department for?
We don't need
Next
one.
Thing you're going to tell me we need an Energy Department.
My goodness. Oh, are we going to have them? Is Trump going to move to eliminate cabinet departments, cabinet level agencies? I'd love him to do it. I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, I don't know about that. Look, I'd love to see it too. I mean, we don't need an energy department. We don't need a commerce department. Frankly, we don't need an education department. But I don't know if we're going to get rid of the agencies. But I know this that we're going to be cutting like crazy, and we are going to. Some people jokingly said, when I was in a meeting yesterday with the Trump people, someone at the table said, "Are we going to have reductions in force?" And one of the campaign people said, "Not reductions in force, reductions with force."
Now, a lot of people voted for Trump.
We want to look, folks. It's very simple. Dan and Amy, it's very, very simple. We're going to drain the swamp.
Yes, I've heard that phrase.
And by the way, Washington is in terror right now. These people, these career bureaucrats and lobbyists, it's so wonderful to behold. I just ride the metro all day and look at the fear in these people's faces.
Well, it's sinking in.
Washington is going to be downsized, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's true. And a lot of people that voted for Trump want to keep.
Hope it's true.
They want to keep more of the money that they make. Is that going to happen under a Trump administration?
Gee, what a concept, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yes. I mean, the tax cut is the heart of our economic plan. We're going to cut taxes for workers, and we're going to cut taxes for businesses. Now, I'll say this, Amy. I think we're going to go first with the tax cut for businesses. We've got to get our businesses hiring workers again. We've got to get them competitive again in these global markets. I was on a radio show a week ago, and a gentleman, I was talking about our tax cut plan, and this gentleman called me and he said he owns factories, and he just moved one of his factories out of Michigan to China. He said he took 600 jobs with them because of the taxes and regulations in this country. And I said, sir, if we do our tax cut where we cut the tax rate to 15% in the United States, would you bring that factory back from Beijing back to Michigan? And he said, in a heartbeat. These jobs are going to come back. I think they'll come back pretty quickly.
And I hope Republicans in Congress are stout of heart as you. But let me ask you this, Steve, in terms of...
Well, by the way, Dan, let me just say something about Congress and all that stuff. It's Donald Trump's party right now. Just as when Ronald Reagan won the election, it was Reagan's party. This is a new Republican party, ladies and gentlemen, and it's a working class party. I mean, this is the most amazing thing about this election is that literally millions and millions, if not tens of millions, of working class, blue collar, union workers crossed over, and they abandoned the Democratic Party quite correctly because the Democrats don't care about working class people anymore, and they voted for Donald Trump. And so this is going to be a party in some ways, Dan and Amy. I mean, I'm not going to go into this with my eyes closed. He's going to do some things we don't like as conservatives, but I think he's got most of the program in place. We're going to do school vouchers. We're going to get rid of Obamacare. We're cutting taxes. We're going to downsize the government. This could even be a more conservative administration than Ronald Reagan's.
Yeah, well, I'm glad he brought in the working class that had been jettisoned by the Democrats under Obama, and that's fine. That's great, generally speaking. We have some differences on trade policy. I understand that. But in terms of reducing the size and scope of government, which was one of the promises of Reagan, too, that didn't really materialize, that fourth branch of government, the administrative state, it seems to me that it would be useful if Trump embarked on a program of neo-federalism, block grant Department of Education money to the states specifically for opportunity scholarship programs, eliminate the inducements for states to do bad things like expand, like Medicaid expansion of Obamacare. There really needs to be a philosophical underpinning if you're going to have a cogent agenda. And I wonder if you think that really will be part of a Trump viewpoint.
It should be, and I think it will be, whether it can get done. I mean, look, Washington is an empire, right? It is an empire, and they're going to resist everything we try to do. So let's just be honest about this. Washington's going to hate what we're going to do. They want to keep the power of Washington. They don't want to bring the power back to the states and local governments. But I look, Dan and Amy, I feel very strongly that we need to do exactly what you just said, Dan, is move all these programs to the states. Let them deal with health care. Let them deal with welfare. Let them deal with transportation and education. I mean, that was the way our federalist system was set up, and that was the genius of our founding fathers, that they set up a system where you have 50 states that compete against each other, and good policies crowd out bad policies. So I'm with you. I'm just telling you, it's hard to do. Yeah. I remember in the Reagan administration, as you said, Dan, we tried to do that, and we failed.
Right, well,
we couldn't take the power away from Washington. It's a tough thing to do.
If it was easy, Donald Trump wouldn't be president. Steve Moore, Larry Kudlow, and Art Laffer wouldn't be advising him. All right, Steve Moore, economist for the Heritage Foundation, Trump economic advisor. Steve, thanks as always for joining us. Good luck out there.
See you next week. Take care.
Yep, and congratulations. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Are you down with TPPA? You know me. Clearly, he didn't see that Between the Ferns episode. Today, we are going to have breezy conditions, plenty of sunshine, though. Just really another gorgeous fall day, so enjoy. Dan's going to go golfing. It's going to be a high of 65. Yeah, good for you. With your fancy friends. And then tomorrow, Friday, it's going to be sunny, breezy, cooler, a high only in the 50s. Let's get the travel times and say hello to Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. Eastbound Adams Tollway. It's slow going Meacham to 53, and then it's also heavy from the Tri-State to the River Road Toll Plaza, and the delays continue on the Kennedy to around Foster. 24 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 26. Eden's 20 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. The Eisenhower. 43 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 31. Stevenson, 45 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 35. Ryan is 24 minutes, 95th to downtown, northbound Tri-State. Heavy approaching the 83rd Street toll, then around 290, and it's slow 21 to Washington Street with a crash in the two left lanes. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Business owners and managers, you likely aren't getting the most out of your phone system, and whether you realize it or not, you could be losing revenue. At AM 560, Innovative Networks is more than a client. They're also a company we work with and highly recommend. They excel at providing innovative solutions to reinforce your company's phone infrastructure and enhance call flow. We appreciate how comprehensive, diligent, and cost-effective Innovative Networks was in providing network solutions that scale with our business. And amazingly, they can replace your outdated phone system at no cost. Plus, provide hands-on training to maximize your capabilities. Your bottom line will improve, and you'll be better equipped to focus on growing your business. We're thrilled with Innovative Networks and suggest you call at 312-889-9090. They're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Call 312-889-9090 or visit go4inet.com. That's go4inet.com.
Mike Rowe here for 1 hour. Today, Chuck is jogging in place to make a point about energy efficiency.
I thought I was training for a marathon.
He's been at it now for...
3 minutes.
And already he's wearing out.
I'm not.
Your heating and air conditioning systems are a lot like Chuck.
Warm yet somehow cool?
Wheezing, wasting energy, and probably headed for replacement.
You're talking about the air systems, right?
Sure, pal. Sure. Call 1 hour before it's too late.
Can you do the disclaimer for me?
Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Thanks.
Wildfires, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, a crashing economy. Are you ready? At best, your local stores have a 3-day supply of food. Will your family have to fight over what's left? Be wise and be ready with 25-year shelf life Wise Food Storage. Try it free. Order a no-obligation free sample meal, and for a limited time, get a 10% discount and free shipping on all orders. Call for your free sample now. 800-787-1010. 800-787-1010.
Hey there, this is Eric Metaxas. Lately, I've been telling you about Liberty University's online degree programs. Liberty University is the world's largest Christian university with over 95,000 students studying around the world through Liberty's online programs. While there are a lot of universities who've jumped into online education, few can deliver on the promise of a quality education with such flexibility, and even fewer can actually point to a graduate of their online program like my friend Morgan from Nashville.
I did it. I actually got my degree from Liberty University. 2 degrees, actually. Not only has this process taught me self-discipline, I've also learned that it is never too late to fulfill your dreams. And I did it all online. I did it, and you can too.
Call Liberty University now at 800-424-9595. That's 800-424-9595, 800-424-9595, or visit liberty.edu/online. Flexible, affordable, possible. Liberty University Online.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, since we struggle to get too much direction from Steve Moore on the cabinet, other than Treasury Secretary, he did say he worked with banker Steve Mnuchin. Easy for me to say. And, of course, Carl Icahn is an icon.
Yes.
So in terms of Treasury Secretary possibilities.
And I like Rudy Giuliani for Attorney General or Secretary of Homeland Security. It's a possibility. And Reince Priebus, Chief of Staff.
How about this? Wow, this would be Secretary of Homeland Security. How about this?
What?
Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark.
Oh.
That would be interesting.
Jeff Sessions, Defense Secretary. But
Sessions
NBC
is going to get a
reporting.
plum position, that's for sure.
What about Chris Christie, though? That's the one. I mean, they say he's going to have a cabinet position, but which one?
Let's look at like the key ones. So Secretary of State, short list according to this BuzzFeed release: John Bolton, Senator Bob Corker from Tennessee, and Newt.
Yeah, ABC was just reporting that Newt Gingrich is a shoo-in for it, but
could be.
Okay.
So
I
that's
don't have a problem with that.
That's a big one. We talked about Homeland Security. The 2 on this short list: Chris Christie and Sheriff David Clark, as I mentioned.
Oh.
Defense: Senator Jim Talent, Jeff Sessions, as you mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
Duncan Hunter Jr., Congressman from California. He's very good. And then military: former General Mike Flynn, who of course was a Trump surrogate.
I would like to go with Mike Flynn on that one.
Yeah, Duncan Hunter served.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's you could go a couple of different directions there.
Where are the white women at? Or any women?
How about Secretary of Commerce? I don't like this one at all. Former Governor Mike Huckabee on the list? No.
You know, Trump loves Huckabee.
He loves him some
does.
Huckabee.
Well, during his victory speech, you're like, oh, Mike Huckabee, he's the greatest. Where's Mike Huckabee? Where is he? Where is he?
For Secretary of the Interior, we got some female governors on the short list. Jan Brewer, former governor of Arizona. Mary Phelan, governor of Oklahoma. Congressman Cynthia Loomis, and former Governor Sarah Palin.
For Secretary of the Interior?
Yeah, that would make some sense. And then, you were just mentioning the possibility, although this, again, there's subject to change, of course, Chief of Staff Reince Priebus.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Oh, I think that's a done deal.
Why?
Because everybody was saying that, and they asked him about it, and he said, okay, well, I'm open for everything. I do like my job now, but I'm open for it.
Well, I'll tell you.
They're playing a little game.
Well, Reince is an attorney, in addition to his post of being RNC chairman. What they did in Wisconsin to deliver Wisconsin for Trump, which put him over the top, a big deal. In addition to that, as critical as people were, many Trump supporters were, of the Republican Party generally, one of the stalwart Trump supporters never wavered, even when some Republicans ran for the hills, in terms of the establishment of the party.
Right.
Reince Priebus at the RNC.
Right.
Reince Priebus, Sean Spicer, his comm guy, they did their job at the RNC in support of the nominee and other candidates. You had National Review, as they admit in their op-ed today, talking about their view on Trump, but their well wishes for him and some things they suggest he do. But they reminded people, to their credit, National Review, the staff there, staff editorial, that in September they were calling for the party to divert resources from Trump to Senate and House candidates because they thought his deficit was insurmountable. And, of course, the RNC didn't do that. And the RNC and Trump proved victorious, of course. So,
What about,
but I mean, I just want to make the point about Reince, establishment. I get that, but let's do some separation of important personnel in the quote unquote establishment because they didn't all behave the same. They don't all have the same skill sets or skill deficits. So make some distinctions between people in positions of authority and decision making that made different decisions.
I really think he's going to put Ivanka somewhere and Amoroso somewhere. And
well, yeah, but not the cabinet.
Well, Ivanka, he might put her in a cabinet position.
No.
He wanted to make her his vice president to be good.
He's not going to put a member of his family in the cabinet. No.
Well, wasn't Robert Kennedy, John F. Kennedy's attorney general?
Yeah, that's true.
He had a law degree, but I'm just saying.
That helps. In addition to some other experience that before the run up to the attorney general.
I think Amoroso will be the social secretary. Like Desiree Rogers was.
Okay. Perhaps.
That would be perfect for her.
Yeah, that's
I'm all right. Okay, I'm a chick. I'm just telling you what I'm thinking.
All right, chick.
For the ladies, because there's going to be 2 or 3. And then Kellyanne Conway's got to be, she's got to have some high-profile position.
Yeah, she'll be like a senior counselor or something like that.
Or White House advisor.
Well, right. To use the term of
what
art
Valerie
that you
Jarrett
like.
is.
Chuck in Delavan, Wisconsin.
Hey, Chuck from Delvin. I'm throwing my hat in for the labor secretary because nobody works harder than me.
Good luck.
Hey, you guys gave me an opportunity. I told you Florida a couple weeks ago. Florida was going with them because of that Elian Gonzalez thing. Hispanic people.
Yeah, that was the key.
Huh?
Elian Gonzalez was the key. Okay, Chuck. All right, go ahead.
Well, when you got an AK-47 pointed at the uncle of the girl that slammed to get that kid there.
Right, for the 5% of people that remember who that is. Okay, go ahead, Chuck.
And then I said Wisconsin was going. I've been to a lot of fish fries. I traveled through the Dakotas, all the homemade signs out there, and I asked the people, why is it a homemade sign? They said, we can't get a hold of a Trump Pence sign. Some of those states out there, 3/4 of the population voted for Trump.
Sure.
I think the other 1/4 that voted was just academia. So thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Chuck. Appreciate it. Tom in Deer Park.
Oh, good morning. My comment wasn't so much on the cabinet, but it was in relation to what Steve Moore and so many others have said about the World Series and in the election of Trump for president. And my juxtaposition was this, Dan. In 1932, when Babe Ruth made the call at Wrigley Field during the World Series, Wrigley Field held about 30,000 people, but to this day, there's 60 million people that claim to have been there. Now in this election, Donald Trump legitimately and legally got 60 million votes. But my guess is in a short amount of time, 2, 4, 8, 20 years, there'll be about 30,000 people that admitted voting for him. I think that's just human nature, nothing personal.
Yeah, that's right. Victory has 1,000 fathers and defeats an orphan. Right, Tom? Thanks.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Townstone Financial is synonymous with great rates, low closing costs, and phenomenal service to the thousands who have completed purchases and refinances with us since 2002. Hi, my name is Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
My name is Elisa French. I'm a Chicago ad executive. I have completed 3 no-cost refinances with Townstone Financial and with Barry Sterner over the past 15 years. I've always received outstanding interest rates. I think the best interest rates that are out there. My husband and I, have never paid closing costs. They've always made the process really simple, really easy. So if you really are looking for somebody you can trust, call Barry.
Remember, nobody values your business more than Townstone Financial, and I'm always available to answer your questions. Call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639. Equal housing lender.
AM 560. The Answer.
Point of order. I think there's an anti-nepotism law with respect to the cabinet after Bobby Kennedy, so Trump couldn't appoint a family member even if he wanted to. So,
okay, fine.
I'm just saying.
Girls
saying,
can dream.
sister.
I'm just letting you know.
I know. It's just a guy talking to a
Ivanka.
chick. Yeah, I get it.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Tiny Dancer weighs in on Trump.
I think he's a little scared in his tutu. We'll explain, but first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
41 angry protests erupting across the country against President-elect Donald Trump. New York, L.A., Chicago, elsewhere. President Obama is scheduled to meet with the president-elect today at the White House.
President Bush and I had some pretty significant differences. But President Bush's team could not have been more professional or more gracious in making sure we had a smooth transition.
House Speaker Paul Ryan says the president-elect will lead a Republican Party that is united.
We won more seats than anyone expected, and much of that is thanks to Donald Trump. Donald Trump provided the kind of coattails that got a lot of people over the finish line so that we could maintain our strong House and Senate majorities.
Ryan says the Affordable Care Act will be repealed and replaced. First act, he says, of Congress. Police are hunting for whomever shot 2 police officers near Pittsburgh overnight. It's happening in the town of Cannonsburg, about 20 miles southwest of Pittsburgh. 2 Marine Corps pilots are recovering from injuries after their military jets crashed into one another off the coast of San Diego. Election night bringing a slight but important power shift in Springfield. Governor Rauner was able to secure 3 seats in the Illinois House. In the Senate, Republicans picking up 2 seats in Springfield. The Cook County Board expected to vote today on whether to tax sugary beverages. The penny announced tax would include 0-calorie drink sweeteners as well. And 1 person is in custody after an off-duty Chicago police officer exchanged gunfire with someone on the city's northwest side. It happened in the 3400 block of North Albany Avenue. It appears right now no one was injured in that gunfire. Atlanta beat the Bulls. Blackhawks over the Blues in OT. Toledo beat our Northern Illinois Huskies in college football. The news, a service of Firestone Complete Auto Care. Be prepared for winter, spring, summer, and fall with Firestone FR710 all-season tires. 10% off at Firestone. Firestone Complete Auto Care. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone. 6:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The voters have spoken. And after a long and contentious campaign, Donald Trump has been elected our 45th president.
Now it's time for America to bind the wounds of division.
What happens next for America?
We will begin the urgent task of rebuilding our nation and renewing the American dream.
Happens here.
It's going to be a beautiful thing.
This is AM 560.
Nothing we want for our future is beyond our reach.
The Answer.
Remodel your kitchen with Galaxy. Buy 1 cabinet and get 1 free with free financing and design services. Call 773-783-8300.
Life should be an adventure, and so should your health. It's another can't-miss Health Quest radio show this Saturday morning. Dr. David Kolbaba.
I'm the host of Chicagoland's longest-running health news and science show. As a primary natural health care practitioner, I've been helping people just like you reach a higher place of health and longevity, utilizing more natural strategies as I believe our Creator meant it to be.
Create your adventure in health. Tune into Health Quest Radio every Saturday morning at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you worried how the election, global events, and the current economy might affect your retirement? Listen to Grow My Retirement, Saturdays at 2 with Bill Geiger, Chicago's retirement planning advisor. Bill helps you translate complex retirement issues into easy-to-understand steps to help you create a retirement income you can't outlive.
The important thing of this show is not when the next downturn is coming, but to have your portfolio and your retirement plan ready for it.
Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger, Saturday at 2 p.m. on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
About 6 years ago, I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store without having to stop and rest. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751 or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
637. Check of the roads, AM 560's Jim Talamonte.
Like in Palatine, eastbound Lake Cook is closed Ela to Quentin due to a crash. Heavy delays on the northbound Tri-State, first from Cicero to LaGrange Road, and from the Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue, and so 21 to Washington with a crash in the left lane. But Adams Tollway jammed. The Tri-State and the River Road toll delays continue on the Kennedy to Lawrence. 42 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 32. Eden's 29 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. Eisenhower, 49 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 39. Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic service of Account Temps. Do you know what you should be making? Visit AccountTemps.com/salary center. See salaries for more than 400 accounting and finance jobs where you live. It's your go-to source for accounting and finance salary information. Account Temps, a Robert Half company. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Breezy, plenty of sunshine, high 65, 41 right now. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by HealthQuest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. HealthQuest Radio is heard Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock here on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Oh, boy, the hysterics.
I know. It doesn't stop.
But now all of the principals are striking the right notes. Donald Trump did on Tuesday night. Hillary Clinton did, for the most part, yesterday morning.
Yeah. She was very gracious. It was hard to watch, just as somebody we grew up with.
It's always hard to watch Hillary.
No, because it's really over. And then the shot of them getting in the van, that she collapsed into. And it's a rainy day in New York, and she and Bill or Uma, I wasn't sure who was sitting next to her in the car. They went back to the compound, and
they dropped Bill off. They dropped Bill off at the nursing home, and then Uma and Hillary boarded a flight for hedonism.
Stop it! No, I mean it's just hard because I have a lot of friends who are Clinton supporters they're not only in shock, they're angry, they're mad. It's like up and down and moments of rage, and it's just been a very difficult.
They're going through the 5 stages.
No, they are. They really are. And I just tell them it's going to be okay. Embrace the suck. Michelle Malkin always said that. And it'll be, just give it a try. Everything's in their hands. The House, the Senate, the presidency. Let's see what the Republicans can do.
All right. So Trump and Hillary essentially said that. You got to give him a chance and wish him success. And that's the same thing President Obama said yesterday afternoon after Hillary's concession speech and before President Obama and Donald Trump meet today.
Now, it is no secret that the president-elect and I have some pretty significant differences. But remember, 8 years ago, President Bush and I had some pretty significant differences. But President Bush's team could not have been more professional or more gracious in making sure we had a smooth transition so that we could hit the ground running. And one thing you realize quickly in this job is that the presidency and the vice presidency is bigger than any of us. So I have instructed my team to follow the example that President Bush's team set 8 years ago and work as hard as we can to make sure that this is a successful transition for the president-elect. Because we are now all rooting for his success in uniting and leading the country.
And then President Obama went on with a message, Amy, that you can share with your friends who are so upset with you for not supporting Hillary Clinton.
We have to remember that we're actually all on one team. This is an intramural scrimmage.
Sports.
We're not Democrats first. We're not Republicans first. We are Americans first.
America.
We're patriots first.
Not that I agree with him, but he did go on also to say, because we had concern about this, he said, he is not going to leave an upper decker in the presidential bathroom for Trump.
Or some
So
moldy
that-
cheese.
so
That's another one.
That's good news.
People could do that. But you know what?
Good news for Trump.
But he said that, President Bush and I didn't get along, during the transition process we did. But Donald Trump and President Obama, a little bit different. Was it not Donald Trump who demanded to see the birth certificate of one Barack Obama?
Was it
I
not?
mean, I think they have bad blood between them.
What was it
Worse
not
than-
President Obama in the closing days who went so low as to suggest that Trump embraced the Ku Klux Klan? So that goes in both directions.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that happened.
But wouldn't you like to be a fly on the wall? Once they're going to do the obligatory photo op where they greet each other and they sit down, and then I'd love to be a fly on the wall after the media leaves and just hear what they have to say.
It's all going to be perfunctory.
Oh, it will. I mean,
it's like a holiday dinner with your in-laws. It's just pleasantries and niceties, and then you go your separate ways. You never see each other.
I mean, he seems that he's polite, and if you ever meet him, he's connected. He's interested in you. So, I'm sure he'll be fine with President Obama, and I'll be fine. And then Obama's going to laugh like, "What happened? Is this real?"
Can I read you this letter?
You can read me.
Oh,
a
well,
letter.
we should.
what do you-
We talked to Chuck from Delavan. I mean, we're largely responsible for Trump's victory. Chuck from Delavan, Wisconsin, one of our listeners delivered Wisconsin for Trump, and Jim from Tampa delivered Florida for Trump. So we better take his call. Jim.
Hey, listen, I think the press secretary should be Dan Proft. We need somebody to explain things to people. I think you could be like Tony Snow was. Do a great job of explaining things to people.
Thank
Very
you.
important.
Thank you for the call, Jim. And wow,
And if it's a matter of national security, you can't reveal it and just tell them that right to their face.
well, the late Tony Snow, who was great,
Yeah,
a
he was
great
good.
gentleman, in addition to great press secretary. Boy, that's high praise. I'm not deserving of it, but I will not take the job because I don't want the pay cut.
Oh,
So can I get to this letter from Aaron Sorkin now?
fine. If you took the job, you'd have to get short pants on.
Speaking of,
They never wear suits that fit.
Speaking of arrogant, mildly talented individuals, Aaron Sorkin.
Okay.
And I was talking about me, not Tony Snow, by the way. Aaron Sorkin wrote a letter to his daughters.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, because he's Aaron Sorkin and he's a hack. And by the way, if you go to YouTube and look up Aaron Sorkin mashup, all of Aaron Sorkin's projects from West Wing forward, it's the same lines over and over again in every Aaron Sorkin project.
Different actors and actresses.
Hackneyed, banal, mildly talented writer that is way over celebrated. So he writes this letter to his daughters about Trump, and of course publishes it in Vanity Fair because he's a self-indulgent Hollywood clown. Sorkin girls. Well, the world changed late last night in a way I couldn't protect us from. It's a terrible feeling for a father. I won't sugarcoat it. This is truly horrible. It's hardly the first time my candidate didn't win, but it's the first time that a thoroughly incompetent pig with dangerous ideas, a serious psychiatric disorder, no knowledge of the world, and no curiosity to learn has. And it wasn't just Donald Trump who won last night. It was his supporters, too. Pay attention, Trump supporters, for the next Aaron Sorkin project you may want to or not want to patronize. The Klan won last night. White nationalists, sexists, racists, and buffoons, angry young white men who think rap music and Cinco de Mayo are a threat to their way of life, have been given cause to celebrate. Men who have no right to call themselves that and who think that women who aspire to more than looking hot are shrill, ugly, and otherwise worthy of our scorn rather than our admiration struck a blow for misogynistic S-heads everywhere. A lot of profanity in this Aaron Sorkin piece. Such a talented
really not
writer.
appropriate for his daughters.
And
why would they want to hear their dad swear like a sailor?
And such a talented writer, you think he could be more enlightened with his discourse. Apparently not. Hate was given hope. Abject dumbness was glamorized as being the fresh voice of an outsider who's going to shake things up. For the next 4 years, the President of the United States, the same office held by Washington and Jefferson, Lincoln, Teddy Roosevelt, FDR, JFK, and Barack Obama. Wow, those names belong together. Will be held by a man boy who will spend his hours exacting Twitter vengeance against all who criticize him. We've embarrassed ourselves in front of our children and the world. And it took the world no time to react. The Dow futures dropped 7,000 points overnight. Yeah, and have rebounded.
They rebounded beautifully.
Yeah, sorry, Sorkin.
Yeah, everybody was waiting for the stock market to crash, and that didn't happen. I'm sorry.
Mr. Sorkin's financial literacy is commensurate with his intellectual literacy. Economists are predicting a deep and prolonged recession. NATO allies in a state of legitimate fear. Muslim Americans, Mexican Americans, African Americans shaking in their shoes and so on. So what do we do? Right, Sorkin. We're not alone. 100 million people in America and 1 billion more around the world feel exactly the same way we do. We get out of bed. The Trumpsters want to see people like us. And the people like us, he describes, listen to this.
Okay.
Jewish. And it's anti-Semitic accusation. Coastal elites, educated, socially progressive, Hollywood. Sobbing and wailing and talking about moving to Canada. I won't give them that, and neither will you. Here's what we'll do. We'll effing fight. More profanity. We're not powerless and we're not voiceless. Goes on. We send good people to Washington like Kamala Harris. Of course. And he goes on to say, our family is fairly insulated from the effects of the Trump presidency, so we fight for the families that aren't. Mm-hmm. We fight for our First Amendment and for equality. Roxy, I know my predictions have let you down in the past, but
Roxy, he named his daughter Roxy?
Yeah, apparently. But personally, I don't.
The other one, Foxy? I'm sorry.
Well,
very juvenile.
Roxanne.
Roxanne. Oh, yeah.
I don't think this guy can make it a year without committing an impeachable crime. If he does manage to be a douche nozzle without breaking the law for 4 years, again, this is Aaron Sorkin, this dizzying intellect, this Hemingway of our time. If he does manage to be a blank without breaking the law for 4 years, we'll make it through those 4 years. And 3 years from now, we'll fight like hell for our candidate and we'll win, and they'll lose. And this time they'll lose for good. Honey, it'll be your first vote. So apparently talking to his youngest daughter.
You do, baby.
Mm-hmm. There's Aaron Sorkin. West Wing, celebrated writer of our time on the big screen and the small screen. That's what you get out of Hollywood. That's the intellectual content. You want to be intimidated by that? You want to celebrate that? You want to look to that for direction on your life or your thinking about life? Wow. By contrast to Aaron Sorkin, let me introduce you to a better writer. Her name is Cecilia Podzrawinski. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. This was sent to me by her mom. It was a letter she wrote to Donald Trump. She's 18 years old. I'm 18 and I voted for you. I voted for you not because I expressly wanted to, but because I needed to. I want to look to the future with hope and anticipation. I want to be happy with the environment that I will start a life in, get married and have kids in. I voted for you because Hillary wouldn't give me or my future kids any of that, even though she says she will. She's a liar. We've all seen that. But I'm not here to attack Hillary. I'm here to implore you, Mr. Trump. Alexis de Tocqueville said America is great because America is good, and if America ever ceases to be good, America will cease to be great. We have not ceased to be completely good, but we are going down that path, and I implore you, first make America good again, then its greatness will follow. Politicians today have forgotten this. They have forgotten who they serve. The president is the servant of the people, not of his whims, not of others' whims. You will serve the people, Mr. Trump. Please remember that. Please, 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 Mr. Trump, do not lose sight of that prize. Do not stray from the good path. America needs you now. Our future children need you now. I'm praying for you, Mr. Trump, because you can do it. You can remember all these things and fix what is broken in our system and better the things in the system which aren't. Please remember this. Respectful regards, Cecilia. Compare Aaron Sorkin to multi-cajillionaire Hollywood elite writer to 18-year-old Cecilia. Whose side do you want to be counted as having stood on? I'll take Cecilia.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Today, plenty of sunshine, just another gorgeous day. We will have a slight breeze and a high of 65. Tonight, clear and breezy, a low of 44. And tomorrow, Veterans Day, no one's at school. Most people aren't at school. CPS isn't. You're going to have partly sunny skies, breezy, a high of 51. Let's get those travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. It's very slow going on the northbound tri-state this morning. Cicero to LaGrange Road, jammed there. Then from the Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue. And it's also slow farther north, 21 to Washington after a crash. We have milder delays on the Adams Tollway, I-90, Higgins Road, Barrington Road, Roselle to 53 for the tri-state onto the Kennedy. Once you're there, it's 42 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 18 from Montrose. Outbound, it's 40 minutes downtown to the airport. Edens looking at 30 minutes, like Cook to Montrose. Outbound 22, the Eisenhower, 58 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, 43 from Manheim. Outbound 41 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 57 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 45 from the tri-state. Outbound 39 minutes to 355. Ryan, 26 minutes from 95th to the Loop. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs. It's a Trump rally on Wall Street. GM planning layoffs in Ohio and Michigan. European Union ministers looking to the future. Those stories next.
Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. Attention investors, your IRA or your 401k may be at risk again. The 2008 crash wiped out up to 50% of IRAs and 401ks. Can you afford to lose again? What if you could store IRA or 401k savings where you can see, touch, and hold it in your hands? With the Augusta Gold or Silver IRA, you transfer a portion of retirement savings into physical coins you can actually see and get fast in case of any disaster. Call Augusta Precious Metals today for a free gold and silver IRA guide. No obligation. Augusta Precious Metals, A-plus Better Business Bureau rating, 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 1-855-222-6993. That's 1-855-222-6993. One more time, 1-855-222-6993.
Stocks moving solidly higher on Wall Street following Donald Trump's upset victory over Hillary Clinton. Stocks reacting negatively early on, but then began to accelerate. The Dow Jones Industrials gaining 257 points at the close. A Trump rally without question. General Motors planning layoffs because more Americans are buying SUVs and trucks rather than passenger cars. Most of those layoffs will be in Michigan and Ohio. Foreign ministers from the European Union holding a special meeting to assess the election of Donald Trump as president and to assess what it may mean for transatlantic relations. The Labor Department will issue its weekly jobless figures this morning, giving us a sense of where the labor market is for the remainder of the fourth quarter. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
You've heard the name Turnkey IT for years on the station, and you know that they do something with IT for business. The truth is that Turnkey IT supports users, not simply computer devices. Now, the average consumer has 4 connected devices: smartphone, tablets, laptops, desktops. And these devices connect to fitness devices, machines, watches, thermostats, heck, even refrigerators. So our good friends, the professionals at Turnkey IT, help you connect all of them together so your company is as connected as you want it to be. Turnkey IT has a great team of professionals who help users every day, just like you and me. From the simplest to the most complex systems, they make technology workable, usable, understandable for people like us, and reliable. So if you're tired of just settling for technology and want to really make your technology work for you, then visit turnkey.pro today. Local business, owned and operated, turnkey.pro today to see how simple and affordable it can be to get your tech world spinning. That's turnkey.pro. Turnkey.pro.
Are you worried how the election, global events, and the current economy might affect your retirement? Listen to Grow My Retirement, Saturdays at 2 with Bill Geiger, Chicago's retirement planning advisor. Bill helps you translate complex retirement issues into easy-to-understand steps to help you create a retirement income you can't outlive.
The important thing of this show is not when the next downturn is coming, but to have your portfolio and your retirement plan ready for it.
Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger, Saturday at 2 p.m. on AM 560. The Answer.
Licensed in all states. Product availability varies. Agents may be compensated on enrollment.
This is Michael Medved. I'm here with Mike Stahl from Health Markets, helping folks find the right Medicare coverage. The news reports say that the rates might be going down.
The government projects the cost of Medicare plans will decrease this year. So you have to ask, are you getting the best rate? And Health Markets offers a free service to help folks maximize their Medicare benefits and save money.
The enrollment period for Medicare already started. What is it people need to keep in mind?
Enrollment in the right plan is not automatic. With so many Medicare options, it can be confusing. My advice, don't go it alone. Get unbiased help to find a plan that may cost less and cover more with lower co-payments, more choices like dental and vision, and the freedom to choose your doctors. With the enrollment deadline only weeks away, it's important to act now. Our Health Markets Medicare service is free.
Thanks, Mike. This is Michael Medved for Health Markets.
For your free Medicare assistance, call 800-814-8109. That's 800-814-8109. 800-814-8109.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Chuck Spaveri, CEO of Spaveri's Custom Counters.
a Chicagoland manufacturer of residential and commercial countertops. If there's a local commercial bank who knows how to get a deal done, it's Signature Bank. When my brother and I needed it, Signature Bank came through with a creative financing solution. That's because Signature Bank has experience working with companies like ours, a second-generation, family-owned and operated manufacturer. Our business matters to Signature Bank, and that comes through in every visit and every phone call with their team, right up to the bank's co-founders, Kevin, Mick, and Brian. Sperveries is proud to bank with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
When it comes to commercial vehicles, it's time to drill down to the details. If you're not driving the new Sprinter Worker from Mercedes-Benz, your van just isn't cutting it. The Sprinter Worker takes payload up a notch, carrying up to 3,512 pounds. Its cargo volume is cranked up too, with over 300 cubic feet of space. When it comes to safety, it's unmatched, but it's the price that'll really hammer it home. The new Sprinter Worker starts at just $32,495. It also has a service interval of up to 20,000 miles and the highest residual value in its class, according to ALG. Put that in your pipe and weld it. Huge capacity, small price, starting at just $32,495. The all-new Sprinter Worker, starting at only $32,495. Mercedes-Benz, vans born to run.
MSRP for a 2016 Sprinter Worker excludes all options, taxes, title, registration, transportation charge, and dealer prep. Options, model availability, and actual dealer price may vary. See dealer for details.
Dan Proft here. Gentlemen, it's Movember. Yes, another month to remind us to take better care of our health. Many of us are going to grow mustaches this month, but hey, why not go to a doctor that you can trust, too? I personally recommend going to the licensed medical providers at Low T Center. They're friends of mine you can trust. At Low T Center, they know we hate going to the doctor. That's why they make it quick and easy. And with their on-site lab, you will get your results back in about 20 minutes. They even accept most health insurance and have flexible hours, including hours on Saturdays. And right now, in honor of Movember, Low T Center is offering a testosterone and prostate level test for just $50. This is a great time to get your levels checked, especially if you don't have insurance or if you haven't met your deductible yet. Call 630-409-4305. That number again, 630-409-4305. Give my friends at Low T Center a call and tell them Dan Proft sent you. Call 630-409-4305 or visit them online at lowtcenter.com. lowtcenter.com.
WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. 2 police officers shot in the line of duty in Pennsylvania. Happened about 4 hours ago. Fox's Tanya J. Powers details what happened live.
Oh, Dave, one of the officers has died. The search for the person responsible for opening fire on those officers is now underway. It happened in Canonsburg just after 3 o'clock Eastern time this morning when they responded to a domestic call.
Upon their arrival, the 2 officers were ambushed. They were shot with an unknown type firearm.
That's Pennsylvania State Trooper Melinda Bondarenka. The neighborhood where the shooting happened is now being evacuated. Nearby schools delayed or canceled because of the heavy police presence now, Dave.
Telling you Donald Trump will get a good look at his new home later this morning, going to the White House as president-elect.
As the president-elect, Donald Trump will now be able to request and receive the same daily intelligence briefings as President Obama.
Fox's Garrett Tenney.
Over the next 2 months, Donald Trump's transition team will be working overtime to piece together his administration. And to keep you updated on that process, it's only fitting that the Trump team has a new Twitter handle, Transition 2017, along with a website, greatagain.gov.
President-elect Trump will also meet later today with House Speaker Paul Ryan. A lot of Americans are angry.
I don't stand behind that. I don't want him to be my president.
She was out protesting in Chicago. That's in Washington, D.C. The protest stretched from New York to California. Thousands were out in the streets. Some there in Oakland set fires and vandalized property. Traffic was blocked in some cities. There have been dozens of arrests. In Stanford, Texas, an 11-year-old boy says he was beaten in school during a mock election and he voted for Donald Trump. He told a Fox reporter.
Are you afraid to go back to class?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, the students who hurt him, according to school officials, have been suspended pending an investigation. This is Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Partly cloudy skies, 42 degrees, 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer, good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago police say 5 were arrested during Anti-Donald Trump protests across the city. Authorities estimate up to 2,000 demonstrators marched through downtown last night. This is where AM 560's David Stewart picks up the story.
Don't give in to racist spirit! The crowd started with just a handful of people near the Trump Tower, but built to more than 1,000, many carrying signs saying, "Not my president," or chanting against Donald Trump's comments about Muslims and immigrants. Police worked to contain the crowd near the hotel and condo, but soon had to close Wabash Avenue as the crowd took over the street and marched down nearby alleys in an effort to elude the cops, one of whom called attention to himself by wearing a Trump button on his uniform hat. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
This morning, Chicago public school finances take another hit. Standard & Poor's has downgraded the district's credit rating from B+ grade to B. The agency says that decision was based on new financial concerns. The Cook County Board today expected to vote on whether to place a tax on sugary beverages. Right now, it has a one-vote advantage ahead of the hand count. The penny an ounce tax would include drinks with zero-calorie sweeteners like diet soda. Authorities have released the names of two 61-year-olds found dead with gunshot wounds in northwest Indiana. Lake County Coroner's Office says James and Patricia Carlin of Lowell were pronounced dead this week, both dying from gunshot wounds. Lowell Police Chief Eric Mattson says there's no threat right now to public safety, but would not release more details on the circumstances. Atlanta beat the Bulls last night, 115-107, in spite of 39 from Jimmy Butler. Artemi Panarin scored 25 seconds into overtime as the Blackhawks beat the Blues 2-1 in St. Louis. College football last night, our Northern Illinois Huskies lost to Toledo at Guaranteed Rate Field, 31-24. The news, a service of Staples. Staples has low prices on technology for your business. And right now, buy any PC at Staples and get free tech support for 30 days. They'll help you set up your new PC so you don't lose critical files and help you connect to your network and your printer. Staples make more happen. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The voters have spoken, and after a long and contentious campaign, Donald Trump has been elected our 45th president.
Now it's time for America to bind the wounds of division.
What happens next for America?
We will begin the urgent task of rebuilding our nation and renewing the American dream.
Happens here.
It's going to be a beautiful thing.
This is AM 560.
Nothing we want for our future is beyond our reach.
The Answer.
Welcome to Staples.
Staples guy, I have to move fast in business. Gotta go, go, go.
Well, then you need to see the all-new redesigned HP OfficeJet Pro printers.
Are they fast?
They're lightning fast and deliver two-sided prints, which saves you time and money. You can even print from your smartphone.
Sounds perfect.
And now at Staples, you can save up to $100 on one.
Fast, efficient, and I save money, so I can relax.
I can see the tension melting.
Yep, gotta go.
Away.
Now save up to $100 on a fast new HP OfficeJet Pro and save every day on ink and toner. Staples. Make more happen.
For limited time, see storestaples.com for details. Restrictions may apply.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. See website for details.
Need some extra cash today? Do you have bad credit or maxed out credit cards? If so, turn your radio up. 35cash.com is one of the nation's largest personal loan networks with over 50 different lenders. Now you can get a personal loan for up to $5,000 with any type of credit discreetly from your computer or smartphone and with no paperwork to send in. That's right, no paperwork whatsoever. Your cash will hit your bank account as soon as tomorrow, as our lenders have millions of dollars to lend regardless of your credit history. Visit 35cash.com and you can have up to $5,000 in no time. Just have a checking account and a regular source of income, and you can get the loan you need now, regardless of your credit. Go to 35cash.com from your smartphone or computer to get the cash you need. Visit 35cash.com. Type www.35cash.com directly into the address bar. That's 35cash.com. 35cash.com.
7:06. Check of your ride to work this morning. Here's AM 560's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Edens, it's slow 2E to the junction. 30 minutes like Cook to Montrose. Outbound 24. The Kennedy, 46 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 21 from Montrose, 19 in the Express. Outbound 45 minutes to the airport. The Eisenhower's an hour and 2 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. 46 minutes from Mannheim. Outbound 43 to Thorndale. Mount Stevenson, 56 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, 44 from the Tri-State. Outbound, 42 minutes to 3:55. Ryan, 28 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 25 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop 421. Northbound Tri-State jam, Cicero to LaGrange Road, from the Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway, heavy Beverly to Barrington, Roselle to 53, and Bussy to Lee. Reagan Tollway's okay, Veterans Memorial, so 75th to the Reagan Tollway, Butterfield to Roosevelt, and Army Trail to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's our meteorologist, Ashley Benoit.
Windy today with plenty of sunshine, high 65. Clear and breezy tonight, low 44. Partly sunny tomorrow with a high of 51. Plenty of sunshine for Saturday, high 52. And plenty of sunshine again Sunday, high 60. I'm Ashley Benoit on AM 560, The Answer.
Beautiful start to the morning. 43 right now, 46 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour Radio Show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pure Shale Financial Group.
Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
We're way past big speech
Donald
time.
Trump is going to be our president. We owe him an open mind and the chance to lead.
So I have instructed my team to follow the example that President Bush's team set 8 years ago and work as hard as we can to make sure that this is a successful transition for the president-elect.
Donald Trump heard a voice out in this country that no one else heard. He connected in ways with people no one else did.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Paul Ryan says Donald Trump heard a voice no one else heard. You know what that voice said, Amy?
What was the voice inside his head?
If you build it, they will come. And you know what it is? The wall.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
They will come, and that's what happened.
Yeah, right.
So
there's going to be no wall and no Muslim ban, but okay, all right.
Okay, well, we'll see on that. That's
Okay.
Amy's prediction. She's very positive about that. We'll see. 312-642-5600. I've got a question. Biggest losers from Tuesday night. And by the way, we should report that Kelly Ayotte in New Hampshire ultimately did lose. She conceded the Senate election there. So it's 52 to 47 in the Senate with one independent. 52-47 Republican control. That's the final tally. Hillary Clinton seems to have won the popular vote, as was somewhat anticipated, certainly even as Michigan still is out. But the biggest losers from Tuesday night, on a related story, did you see this? Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg appeared yesterday wearing her infamous dissent jabot on the bench.
Dissent jabot.
Dissent jabot, yeah, that collar
the
thing that she wears.
Mhm.
It's normally when she has issued
A class I took in college.
dissent jabot. Was that predated Tybo, right?
Yeah.
In terms of like the exercise fans. This is something different. This relates to her little gimmick when she issues a dissenting opinion, but there were no opinions issued yesterday, so it was taken as a dissent with the presidential election outcome. Here's a more cogent response to that question. But Ruth Bader Ginsburg fits into the category. This from Victor Davis Hanson, who has a center-cut commentary in National Review today. A blow to the non-elite elite. There were a lot of losers in this election, well beyond Hillary Clinton and the smug, incompetent pollsters and know-it-all groupthink pundits who embarrassed themselves. From hacked email troves, we received a glimpse of the bankrupt values of Washington journalists, lawyers, politicians, lobbyists, and wealthy donors. Despite their brand name Ivy League degrees and 1% of resumes, dozens of the highly paid grandees who run our country and shape our news appear petty and spiteful and clueless about the America that exists beyond their Beltway habitat. I think this is really an important point that can't be stressed enough. It's not just a repudiation of the elites who think they're smarter and better than you. What we also found out, and why they should be repudiated, those who think they can run your life for you. You know what? As Victor Davis Hanson is suggesting, they're venal, they're craven, and they're incompetent. They're not good at what they do, despite their credentials. And what are they talking about in all these emails that were WikiLeaked? You know, Julian Assange, even though he's not a reputable figure, certainly did, and even what he did was not something to be celebrated, but getting that information out was impactful. There's no question. Those emails.
Oh, yeah, yep.
What it,
and then also the James O'Keefe video, the one with Bob Creamer. Ugh, I hate that name.
Creamy Bob?
Oh, stop.
He's the convicted felon husband of Calamity Jan Schakowsky.
Trademark Dan Prop.
Thank you.
Yeah, but that video when they said, they're going to incite violence, when they're going to, have just admitting voter fraud, we're going to get people to register to vote who shouldn't be. And I mean, that to me was huge. And it's a dirty side of politics, but it was exposed. And it's what the Clintons, that, their hand was directly tied to those people. I know, how many times did Bob Creamer visit the White House?
Right.
400 and some.
200 some odd, 47 times with the President of the United States himself. And then what do we see from these emails? All these people who position themselves as betters, and unfortunately, they believe that because so many people treat them as our betters. They are temporary representatives. There are a lot of people that can be members of a state legislature, can be governors, can be members of Congress, even can be President of the United States. You think the people that you see on TV, the people that you see on a ballot are better than you? Stop thinking that. That's what the bedwetters out in front of all the Trump properties around the nation yesterday think. My life is in your hands. No, it isn't. It is not. There's a responsibility. There are responsibilities government has, but stop looking to the state for your salvation. It's crazy. And if this election doesn't reveal that message, then this will have all been for naught, because then the culture will not change no matter what policies Donald Trump pursues. That's the fundamental problem. Looking to the state, looking to these temporary representatives who think they're your betters because you sometimes treat them like they are your betters, looking to them for all of the happiness and opportunity and success you want to find in life, they're largely impediments to it. They have a few simple jobs, but they're not here to save you or save you from yourself or give you other people's stuff. So why don't we just stop with that? And Victor Davis Hanson goes on to say, here's what they're actually doing. Rather than thinking about you, you think that's happening? Leveraging rich people for favors and money seems to be an obsession. They brag about wealth and status in the fashion of preteens. It's true. I mean, those emails, how banal they and lowbrow they all are, going back and forth with their petty little secrets, and they're trying to coordinate with one another. I mean, at least some were enough aware, like Glenn Thrush, the senior correspondent for Politico, White House, covering D.C., called himself a hack when he was sending stuff to the Clinton camp for approval before he published it. New York Times reporters, all those geniuses at the New York Times.
Then Donna Brazier, feeding Hillary Clinton debate questions. I mean, people were onto that. That's
on and on and on.
But I honestly, I still did not see this coming. Didn't see it coming.
Another big loser, VDH writes, and he's right, Obama Justice Department, or rather the very concept of justice as administered by the present administration. It has gone the tainted way of the IRS, VA, and NSA. The Justice Department clearly pressured the FBI to limit its investigation. Another, career prosecutor who's so revered really across the aisle in D.C. up until this case, and perhaps he shouldn't have been revered up until this case, Jim Comey. Mm-hmm. All these people with credentials that we're supposed to defer to because they have credentials or because they've held important positions. How about actually looking at the performance? And the irony of this all is the sideshow. That's the President of the United States. So I thought what he was going to be and what he was for wide swaths of the campaign. Refer you to Holman Jenkins' piece in Wall Street Journal today, how Donald Trump pulled it off. And it's worth reminding. It's worth reminding ourselves of this. We talked about it during the campaign, but Donald Trump kept his audience. And one of the observations about Trump that was made by Selena Zito in the New York Post, and then also picked up by Peter Thiel, some of his remarks, is the idea of voters taking Trump seriously but not literally. He kept it light. It wasn't the same platitudinous rhetoric of the standard issue politician. So some things were said that most politicians wouldn't say, but other three-dimensional people in this country took it in that spirit. Not everything was supposed to be taken literally. Some of it was off the cuff. Some of it was joking. He was directionally right. Don't take him literally, but take him seriously. And it's an important distinction that was lost on all of these elites who think that the world should hang on their every word. Everyone should be breathless waiting for their edicts and pronouncements on this issue or that topic. And Donald Trump blew all that up. I think a really good point. The Holman Jenkins piece and the VDH piece are good reads today if you're looking for more. Terry in Hawthorne Woods, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Hey, Terry. Terry. Oh, Terry. Oh, Terry.
He's making copies of the pieces you just recommended.
That's fair.
Printing them out, Dan. That's what he was doing.
George and Moniz on the phone.
George.
Hey, guys. I hope the media figures out that what Julian Assange did is what they're supposed to be doing by, the amendment in the Constitution, maybe.
You mean not by hacking into people's emails, but actually reporting on these matters and holding those in power to account.
Exactly.
Yes. Thank you for the call,
So you think
George.
the downfall of Hillary Clinton was the hacked emails?
I think it's I don't think it's a single factor, but I think the WikiLeaks, the drip, did turn out to be the death of 1,000 cuts. And I think it helped to smooth out the ups and downs for Trump. The Gold Star family, the Khan family, the Billy Bush tape. But all throughout, the emails kept coming, and we kept learning more and more and more about the interconnections and the interplay. And you don't have to read through 10 or 15,000 pages of emails to understand what's happening and just how corrupt these people are. And I think that was something that, at the end of the day, a lot of people said, not only can I not vote for this woman, but I'm coming out to vote against her.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, Mayor Emanuel, who not happy with the Trump victory, but he has a little message for Donald Trump. But first, here's your forecast. Plenty of sunshine today, breezy, a high of 65 degrees. Just a spectacular day. And then tomorrow, sunshine again, breezy. The sun will rise at a high of 51. Let's get those traffic tie-ups. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Inbound Kennedy really jammed. Cumberland to the Burns Circle. It's now 1 hour from O'Hare to downtown. 25 minutes from Montrose. 22 in the Express. Outbound 29 minutes to Montrose and 49 to the airport. Eden's 31 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 29. The Eisenhower's an hour and 2 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. 46 minutes from Manhunt. Outbound 43 to Thorndale. Stevenson an hour. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 44 minutes. Ryan is 28 minutes. 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive. Southbound slow. A little bit heavier on Fullerton. Then it's slow 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound delays. The Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State clogged up. Cicero to LaGrange Road. The Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue. And eastbound Adams Tollway. Seeing delays right now from around 25 to 53. And then Bussey to Lee, Veterans Memorial, from Boughton most of the way to Roosevelt and Army Trail to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Amy, you know me like Sir Thomas More to be a man for all seasons, to be a Renaissance man. I'm as comfortable in the golf club as I am the bowling alley. Isn't that what you know about
Yes,
me?
that's true.
Yeah.
But we have a game, remember? I'm supposed to beat you in bowling.
Oh, that's right. We do have a game.
I have my own bowling shoes and ball, and you never showed up.
All right. Well,
For the fight. You never showed up?
Oh, I couldn't make that event. But we're going to bowl. We're
Okay.
going to settle this bet, and you know where we're going to do it? We're going to do it at 10 Pin Bowling Lounge. These are my buddies. The bowling lounge, see, it's not an alley, it's a lounge. It has to be fun and interesting because I'm a fun and interesting kind of guy, raconteur. So gather your friends, fellow raconteurs, your family and coworkers to team up for a holiday party that will be remembered for years to come. Make 10 Pin Bowling Lounge your destination for your office party or get-together. 10 Pin isn't just bowling. It's a cool, comfortable, upscale lounge with great music, delicious food, and a tempting drink list. You have to see the 128-foot video wall featuring your favorite sports teams or your own presentation. And you'll be on your game on one of the 24 state-of-the-art bowling lanes. If the pins don't go down as easily as the martinis, burgers, and conversation, don't worry. It's only part of the fun. Let their expert team of party planners customize your event, big or small. There's room for everyone. So enjoy your next happy hour, corporate outing, or party at 10 Pin Bowling Lounge downtown on State Street, right next to the House of Blues. Come for the bowling or just come for everything else. Get started today at 10pinchicago.com. That's 10pinchicago.com.
Here's microbiologist Dr. Kim O'Neill talking about balance of nature.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true, and it's only natural.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Gina Labus, President and CEO of Mid-States Glass and Metal and a customer of Signature Bank since 2011. As we expanded our business into all aspects of the glass and metal industry, we needed a bank who could grow along with us. That's when we met Mick O'Rourke, co-founder of Signature Bank. Mick and his team took the time to understand the ebbs and flows of our business. They worked with us to find a solution that would support our growth. Mid-States Glass and Metal is proud to work with Signature Bank because they support Chicagoland women-owned businesses like mine.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, yeah.
Blue Jean Baby.
LA
Feel a little
lady.
blue today, huh?
Yeah, Mayor Rahm Emanuel wasn't too happy with yesterday's election results. Of course, he wanted Hill Dog, and that didn't happen.
It's now incumbent for the new Republican majority in both in the House, the Senate, and the White House to both hear, respect, and listen to the voices that also did not vote for them, as much as we have a responsibility to respect the outcome of an election.
I think he's trying to strong-arm Donald Trump. I
No,
mean, with Mayor
please.
Emanuel, or with President Obama, he could get whatever federal funding I think he wanted for Chicago. He wants to make sure that we're not ignored as a city, especially for CPS when it comes to federal funds. And, he just wants to...
It's funny that he wants to dictate terms after defeat, but of course you'll listen to voices that disagree. That you understand, Tiny Dancer. That's what you and the left don't do. You don't listen to voices of dissent. You roll over people who disagree. You're uninterested in a variety of opinions. That's not the position of conservatives.
Well, he went on to, criticize Trump a little because Trump repeatedly held up Chicago as an example of a city where crime is rampant, because it is, where there's a high number of homicides, because there are, and then said this.
I'm not worried about Donald Trump trying to somehow penalize Chicago.
Yeah, there should be no payback from Donald Trump.
You don't have to worry about Donald. You have all kinds of other worries, like the fact that in raw numbers, Chicago has more murders this year than New York and LA combined. 12 million people combined metropolitan areas between L.A. and New York. Under 3 million people here. More murders, not per capita, in raw numbers, in addition to police and fire pensions that are under 30% funded, in addition to one of the worst and most expensive school districts in the country, in addition to the flight from the city, lowest population since 1920, the hollowing out of the city. Middle-income families can't live here because of the tax and spend recklessness of Tiny Dancer and his predecessors, all Democrats for 100 years. That's what you should be worried about.
And not one reporter there asked the little dictators if they're going to put the Trump sign back up. I mean, he is going to be president in 45 days. And they just decide what they want, what they don't want.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I know it's a meaningless sign. People see it, but to me, it's very significant.
Because they're
the power that they have.
They're so interested in a diversity of opinion on topics, right?
Have you talked to your alderman?
Group thing.
Did Alderman Brendan Riley, did he drink himself to death at the Boss Bar with Trump's victory?
Ed in South Loop, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Hey, Ed. Ed in the South Loop. College professor Ed.
And it drives me, my students always complain to me because all of my texts are proper grammar, proper English, proper punctuation, and it drives them crazy.
Your students are driven crazy by you because your lesson plans correct? And stuff are grammatically correct. Is that is that the issue? Ed?
Is Ed talking to us?
What is the problem? Sorry, Ed. Sorry, I don't know what the problem is with our system here. For Christ's sakes. Colin in Wicker Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I think you mean Colleen.
Oh, Colleen, yes, sorry.
I'd like to ask you to put your lawyer hat on for a minute. I have a question. Seeing as how the country's so divided and furious, and you just brought up the issue of the Congress pursuing Hillary's emails and all the rest. And I got to thinking, could he, in the interest of, like Gerald Ford did with Nixon, just get the country behind, get this behind the country rather than roll on with it, either pardon her or do something like what Bush did a la Scooter Libby and give him something that was short of a full pardon, but still got him out of jail. And if he was going to do any of those things, let the Congress go forward for a while and then do it. So there's no doubt that she is crooked as a dog's hind leg.
Okay, thanks for the call, Colleen. Well, I mean, he could preemptively pardon her just as President Obama could. I don't think that will happen in either case. I mean, one of the ways he doesn't need to pardon her, there's no sentence to commute, obviously, but Trump doesn't need to pardon her if his attorney general just decides to take the recommendation of the current and perhaps outgoing FBI director Jim Comey and not pursue a prosecution, right? I guess we'll have to see how that plays out. Chip in St. Charles, quickly.
I find it interesting that Rahm Emanuel is worried about the Republicans neglecting Chicago because the Democrats have neglected Chicago for the last 8 years.
How about the last
Michael Madigan?
How about the last 100? Thanks, Chip.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
If you're serious about selling your home, now is the time. Supply is low and it's a great seller's market in many Chicagoland neighborhoods. I've done the research, and along with my Salem Radio colleagues, Mike Gallagher and Michael Medved, we all recommend that you call Saul. Saul Z and the Z team are so good that if they don't sell your home in 59 days, they'll sell it for free, guaranteed. Saul is ranked 106 out of 1.2 million agents by the Wall Street Journal. His proven marketing system is so effective that he sells on average a home every single day, attracting multiple full-price offers. That demand helps sell your home fast and at the highest price. It's a no-brainer. If I were selling a home in Chicagoland, I'd call Saul. Go online to callsaul.net or call Saul now at 888-346-0666. That's callsaul, SAUL.net, or 888-346-0666. You'd better call Saul.
Hey, it's hard sleeping on a flat pillow, flip-flopping during the night, or waking up feeling unrested. So I suggest you order a MyPillow today. MyPillow has a patented interlocking fill that adjusts to your individual sleep needs. It's washable, dryable, manufactured in America, and guaranteed not to go flat for 10 years. Wow. Now, if you're thinking about that tough person to buy for on your holiday wish list, right now is the best time to buy. For a limited time only, when you buy one MyPillow, you'll receive another MyPillow absolutely free, plus 2 free Go Anywhere pillows. I like this one. And the money-back guarantee is extended through March 1st. So visit MyPillow.com, click the radio listener special tab, and use the promo code Amy. Again, you'll get 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere pillows, all for the price of one. Keep one for yourself, give one for a gift. And don't forget that extended money-back guarantee through March 1st for your holiday gifts. Or simply call 800-489-0201, mention the radio listener special, and be sure to use the promo code Amy. That's MyPillow.com or 800-489-0201. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
A little policy shop talk with Genevieve Wood from the Heritage Foundation at 7:37.
And later, today's a big game, the championship game. Dan has some advice for our Blame Blue Jays. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Sunshine, 42 degrees, and we're watching developments in western Pennsylvania this morning where 2 police officers have been shot, 1 killed, and the search is underway for the gunman this morning. It happened early in Canonsburg, about 20 miles southwest of Pittsburgh. Police in Seattle are still searching for the gunman who shot and wounded 5 outside a 7-Eleven near a busy bus stop in Seattle. President-elect Donald Trump visiting the White House today to talk transition with President Barack Obama. Meanwhile, those upset with the outcome of the election have been taking to the streets to protest.
I don't stand behind that. I don't want him to be my president.
I was speaking last night with a very old friend of mine who's a Muslim. He has children, and he's scared to death.
Chicago police say 5 were arrested during anti-Donald Trump protests in this city, 13 arrested in Los Angeles. World markets are bouncing back in a big way. Investors getting used to the idea of a Donald Trump presidency in Tokyo, where the Nikkei surged 1,100. European markets are also up. Chicago Public School finances taking another hit. Standard & Poor's downgrades the city's credit rating, the district's credit rating, from B+ to B. And authorities have released the names of 2 61-year-olds found dead with gunshot wounds in northwest Indiana as James and Patricia Carlin of Lowell. Right now, Lowell police say there's no threat to public safety. And this happens every election across the country, at least in one hamlet. It's happened again in Oceanside, California, where a dead man has been elected city treasurer. Gary Ernst easily defeating Nadine Scott in Tuesday's election. Even though he died of natural causes in September, city officials say there was not enough time to remove Ernst from the ballot. Chicago sports, Jimmy Butler 39, Atlanta over the Bulls 115-107. Artemi Panarin, the game winner, 25 seconds into overtime, as the Blackhawks beat the Blues in St. Louis 2-1. The news, a service of Hum by Verizon. Hum by Verizon is the technology designed to make your car smarter, safer, and more connected. It's easy. Just plug it in, and you'll get vehicle diagnostics, emergency assistance, vehicle location, and more. Get some peace of mind and a smarter, safer, more connected car. Visit hum.com now. 7:35, time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
If you're looking to relieve symptoms or support your well-being, head to Walgreens for brands you need like Advil, Centrum, Emergency, and Nexium 24-Hour and take your health in your own hands. It's your wellness. Own it.
When it comes to commercial vehicles, it's time to drill down to the details. If you're not driving the new Sprinter Worker from Mercedes-Benz, your van just isn't cutting it. The Sprinter Worker takes payload up a notch, carrying up to 3,512 pounds. Its cargo volume is cranked up too, with over 300 cubic feet of space. When it comes to safety, it's unmatched, but it's the price that'll really hammer it home. The new Sprinter Worker starts at just $32,495. It also has a service interval of up to 20,000 miles and the highest residual value in its class, according to ALG. Put that in your pipe and weld it. Huge capacity, small price, starting at just $32,495. The all-new Sprinter Worker, starting at only $32,495. Mercedes-Benz, vans born to run.
MSRP for a 2016 Sprinter Worker excludes all options, taxes, title, registration, transportation charge, and dealer prep. Options, final availability, and actual dealer price may vary. See dealer for details.
7:37, a check of the roads. Here is AM 560's Jim Talamonte.
Like the inbound Kennedy is now an hour and 7 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 30 minutes from Montrose 25, and the Express outbound 51 to O'Hare. Edens, 30 minutes. Lake Cook to the Junction, outbound 28. The Ike, an hour and 6 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 47 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 6 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 45 minutes. Ryan, 32 minutes. 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound. So the 132 to 176 northbound. Jam Cicero to 115th. Crash in the left lane. Then from 111th, much of the way to 31st. Then from the Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue. So Adams Tollway slow 25 to 53 and Bussy to Lee. Reagan Tollway, Farnsworth most of the way to Yackley and York to the Tri-State. Traffic service of Firestone Complete Auto Care. Be prepared for winter, spring, summer, and fall with Firestone FR710 all-season tires. Now 10% off at Firestone Complete Auto Care. Whatever you drive a Firestone. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, plenty of sunshine today, 65. Clear and breezy, a low of 44 overnight. Currently, 43. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. And Donald Trump has much ahead of him in the next 45 days, transitioning to the presidency. And then certainly in the proverbial first 100 days, what his policy agenda is going to be. And in the first 2 years, where he knows he will have Republican majorities in Congress, what should he do to take advantage of that position and bring the American people along, particularly those, so many of whom are skeptical of his forthcoming presidency? For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by Genevieve Wood. She is senior contributor for the Daily Signal and a senior fellow in communications at the Heritage Foundation. Genevieve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, Dan, good to be with you.
Last year, the Heritage Foundation, or was it earlier this year? I don't know. They all run together. But the Heritage Foundation put out a policy book with about 72 million recommendations for what needs to be done to make the federal government financeable and representative of the American people's interests. Give us the kind of some of the highlights, if you were in the inner sanctum with Donald Trump, what you would be suggesting his policy agenda should look like out of the gate.
Sure. Well, I mean, as you rightly said, there are so many ways you could go because there's so many things and areas that need to be addressed. But I think probably the very first two things, well, let me say three. Number one, something he could do on his own without having to go through Congress on this, because this is what our current president, President Obama, has done, is go through and basically repeal all the executive orders that President Obama did going around Congress to make laws. So all the amnesty changes that President Obama did when it came to immigration, I think Donald Trump should go in and reverse those immediately. He could do that day one in office. I think that the next two things that he ought to do, one is the Supreme Court vacancy that we have from Justice Scalia. I think they can jump on that immediately. And again, they can start setting up those hearings even now. You don't have to wait until January when they come into office. Congress can start setting up those hearings today. And then third is repealing Obamacare. Again, this is something that has precedent in Congress. The problem was always that you had a president who, when it reached his desk, if there was a repeal legislation, he was going to veto it. He did. So that's something, again, Congress can send that again through, and then President Trump can repeal it. So I would start with those three, and then obviously there's a whole host of other things he's going to have to take up.
Yeah, Genevieve, what do you think about the Iran nuclear deal? What do you see that future being?
Well, again, this is another area where the president completely went around, in this case, the Senate went around lawmakers making a deal. I think that President Trump ought to, quote unquote, not just renegotiate it, but say, we're taking that off the table. The United States is no longer going to be bound by that deal. I think that's something he could definitely do. And speaking of foreign policy and military, our military, we just put out, or we'll be putting out next week, an index that looks like this at the strength of the U.S. military. And whether you're talking about the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, every branch of the military, our readiness levels are not near where they need to be. So that's something I think he needs to get a national security team together very quickly, a new military team together very quickly, and start looking at how do we make sure, where do we start rebuilding now to make sure we're prepared for whatever may come up.
I want to go back to the EOs for a minute. The executive orders, you mentioned the executive amnesty, executive order that could be rescinded. There are other areas where he could, with the stroke of a pen, knock out some of the more pernicious gambits of the Obama administration as an opening salvo.
Well, there are. I mean, and a lot of them come, Dan, in the areas of regulations. I mean, as I'm sure many of your audience members know, the history of presidents, especially in recent years, it's not just President Obama. It's included Bush and others, but President Obama really went at it. The number of regulations that have increased on individuals and businesses without Congress being involved has just skyrocketed in the past 8 years. And so that's everything from, business taxes to environmental regulations that come through places like the EPA. Those are things that, again, a president himself can come in and take out those executive orders or direct his agencies to take out those executive orders. Because in many cases, what you had going on was folks at Health and Human Services or the folks over at the Environmental Protection Agency basically making up rules which kind of turn into laws, doing it without any consultation with Congress, without Congress signing off on anything. Those are things that need to be overturned because those are the kinds of things that have really put a hold on the economy, that's hurt jobs, it makes energy costs more. And those are things that I think he could do very quickly in the first 100 days.
Yeah, I would like him to go after the unaccountable administrative state through cabinet officers and directors and the like, and also explain what he's doing as he's doing it so that people just understand the depths, the tentacles of the administrative state, how stifling they are, how unaccountable they are. That would be such a productive exercise for the American people, and kind of from an educational perspective, in addition to from an economic one.
No, I think that's a terrific idea. I hope he does that because you're absolutely right. I think people clearly had a very real sense that the country was on the wrong track. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about the get out the vote efforts and all that, and I do believe that the Republican National Committee had a better game plan this time around than they did 4 years ago. But I would argue that the biggest get out the vote effort that Donald Trump had was the fact that people were very worried about the future. When you have a $20 trillion debt hanging around your neck, when you're getting premium notices in the mail saying that your health care is going up again, when you think your borders are not secure, you don't really need somebody to call you on the phone or knock on the door and tell you it's election day.
Yeah.
And those are very motivating factors. And so I think for him to do what you suggested of really showing people, here's how bad off it's gotten, folks, not because he's still running, he's won now, but to really show here's how we have to go about fixing it because there will be some moments where it's going to be tough to change things, and he's still going to need the public to be behind him, and so they need to understand why he's doing what he's doing.
Now, do you think he will build a wall? Do you think he'll have a ban on Muslims, things that he campaigned on?
Well, look, I think he's going to every politician makes promises they don't eventually end up keeping. But I think he's made some that were so critical and to the core of why he was elected, he's going to have to keep them. And I think he wants to. The wall's a perfect example. Look, the Congress passed several years ago legislation that authorized the building of about a 700-mile wall. What happened? They just never implemented it. They never allocated the money to go do it. So it's not as though this hasn't been tried before in Congress and passed. They just never had anybody then take the leadership role and say, let's now go do it. Let's allocate the money to do it. So I think that is in some ways maybe less of a hurdle than people may think. It won't be easy, but I think, again, that was, people would say, well, he didn't get a mandate. I would argue that he did. It was very clear what he was running on. It was very clear what he said he wanted to do when he got into office. And he got more people voting that way than I think many folks in Washington expected. So I would expect the wall and that issue to come up very soon.
We're talking to Genevieve Wood, Senior Fellow at the Heritage Foundation. Genevieve, a lot of policy recommendations from the Heritage Foundation, but your organization's president is former South Carolina Senator Jim DeMint, a highly respected conservative former policymaker, or still a policymaker, but in a different role of sorts. And I wonder if you have personnel recommendations, or the Heritage Foundation will have personnel recommendations. I know you were involved in suggesting possible Supreme Court nominees. What about cabinet officers for specific posts?
Yes, we do have actually a number of folks at Heritage that are working with the Trump transition team, and actually have been for a number of weeks, because we couldn't be involved in the election side, but we could be involved on a legal matter on the transition team, and they are working on that now. I mean, they've been actually assembling resumes and personnel recommendations for a couple of months now to still post across the government, because yes, there's at the very top you have the secretaries of these agencies, but a president has the ability to appoint almost 7,000 appointments. When you add up all the different agencies in Washington and all the political appointments that go there, it's like about 3,000 to 4,000. Then you have those in the legal area. You have those that go to boards and committees. So there's, beyond the president, it's one reason it's so important who the president is, because they appoint so many people that then carry out a certain agenda across the government. And so there's about, like I said, up to 7,000 openings that a Donald Trump administration will have to come in and fill. And we're working with them on basically every level. The cabinet post will likely come first, but many of these others, you got to have the folks that can actually implement the policy, and that's where it goes all the way down.
That's right. And now this is not a quid pro quo, but I would implore you to put me on the short list for ambassador to New Zealand, because I want to follow in the footsteps of another illustrious Illinoisan, Carol Moseley Braun. Yeah, I think there'd be nice continuity there for that ambassadorship.
We'll see what we can do on that, Dan.
Thank you very much.
Amy, do you have anywhere you want to go?
Ambassador of Sweden, please.
Yeah, we like the ambassadorships. Yeah, they're nice. Genevieve Wood, she is the senior contributor to the Daily Signal, dailysignal.com. She's a senior fellow in communications at the Heritage Foundation. Genevieve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
What a joke that was. How long did she last as ambassador to New Zealand? I mean,
not as long as she lasted as U.S. Senator. That was even a bigger joke.
Forecast for today, just plenty of sunshine. No complaints here. A high of 65 degrees. And then tomorrow, more of the same, but it's going to be breezy and a lot cooler. A high, if we're lucky, of 51. Let's get those travel times. How is the inbound Kennedy doing, Jim Telemonte?
Well, Amy, wish I had better news. Hopefully it improves in the next hour or so. But right now, it's just a mess between Canfield and the Burns Circle downtown. An hour and 15 minutes O'Hare to downtown. It's 40 minutes from Montrose, 26 in the Express. Outbound 48 minutes downtown to the airport. The Edens, 27 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 30. The Eisenhower, no picnic either, an hour and 11 minutes from Thorndale to the post. 53 minutes from Manheim, outbound 56 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 6 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 45 minutes. Ryan is 32 minutes, 90-50 to downtown. Lakeshore Drive has delays southbound Wilson to North Avenue and 18th to the Stevenson, northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson, northbound Tri-State. Jam solid Cicero to 115th with a crash in the left lane, and from 95th most of the way to 31st, and from the Reagan tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Did you know? 40% of all cancer could be prevented? That's a fact. Along with maintaining appropriate body weight and regular exercise, the American Institute for Cancer Research and the USDA confirm that eating 9 to 11 servings of fruits and vegetables every day is the key. Now ask yourself, am I at risk? How many servings of fruits and vegetables did I eat today? Balance of Nature has solved this problem and provides an easy and affordable way to consume over 10 servings of 31 different whole fruits and vegetables every day.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Call now, 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Ladies, you work hard. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom, work outside the home, or both, your sacrifices may have affected your appearance. Well, I have some great news. I'm excited to tell you about Bert and Will Plastic Surgery and Laser Center. Childbearing, breastfeeding, weight gain, weight loss, or just normal aging, I know, can affect our appearance. Unfortunately, dieting and exercise aren't always enough. Dr. Bert offers the Mommy Makeover. It includes a tummy tuck, breast augmentation with the new memory-shaped implants. Dr. Will specializes in Botox, neck lifts, and facial procedures. You can uncover the beauty within. Doctors Bert and Will are female board-certified plastic surgeons. Curious? Well, I met them and I love them. You'll receive a free consultation at any of their Chicagoland offices or register for an upcoming seminar. Call 630-930-3555 or visit uncovermybeauty.com. 630-930-3555 or uncovermybeauty.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, now, regular life, workaday life resumes. It's been ongoing, and that includes this delightful story of how Amy Jacobson took a ragtag bunch of youngsters and turned them into a possible championship ball club.
Yeah, tonight is the night. We've made it all the way to the finals. Final two in the city of Chicago.
This is 5th and 6th grade girls volleyball.
Yes, 5th and 6th grade girls volleyball, and there really is nothing more exciting than this.
Or piercing. Wow. It's like being there.
Did you visualize it? The bump?
We're working on having AM 560 simulcast the 5th and 6th grade Blaine girls volleyball games. So we'll let you know how that happens. Tonight's the championship game?
Yeah, it's at 4:30 at Alcott Elementary.
Sure, of course.
If you want to go.
I'm just going to stay home and watch it on TV because I want to avoid the crowds.
You do. I know it is probably going to be standing room only. I'm not kidding you. I've got all the 5th and 6th grade boys going and some 7th grade boys. I'm taking them all in my minivan. But I'm so proud of the girls. They've worked so hard this year, and really to make it this far, this is the first time the 5th and 6th grade girls team
it's a historic run.
It. So I have to think of motivational speech because I don't want them to get scared. I want them to keep loose. Do you know the team that we're playing? We're not playing Alcott. We're playing Lincoln. They recruit players to go to 5th and 6th grade to play volleyball. And these girls are
they coached
good.
by Landon Cox.
These girls are about my height, and so whatever. But we'll see what happens.
Well, I want to give you and your girls a little inspiration.
Okay.
So I assume they're all listening to this show at this moment. So I just want you to channel a little plucky group of basketballers from the Hoosier State.
We're way past big speech time. I want to thank you for the last few months. It's been very special for me. Anybody have anything they want to say? Yeah. Let's win this and for all the small schools who never had a chance to get here. Okay. I want to win for my dad.
My dad.
Let's win for Coach, who got us here. Thank you. I love you guys.
Girls, let's win this one tonight for Amy. And Amy, when Jimmy Chitwood says he can make the shot, give him the ball.
And now, a moment of objectivism with your Ron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
Many people think the conflict between Israel and the Palestinians is a conflict over a piece of land, but it's about much more than that. Fundamentally, it's a conflict between two perspectives on how human beings should live and treat each other. On one side, you have Israel, which, like other Western nations, respects the rights of its people to pursue their own lives and happiness, speak their mind, and keep their property. On the other side is Palestine, which systematically oppresses its population, including women, gays, and other minority groups, using violence to silence free speech. I am proudly pro-freedom, and that's why I stand for Israel. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Yaron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brooks Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ariradio.com.
If you enjoy Yaron Brooks' Moments of Objectivism, consider making a gift to support content like this from the Ayn Rand Institute. ARI fosters a growing awareness, understanding, and acceptance of Ayn Rand's philosophy of objectivism to create a culture guided by the principles of reason, rational self-interest, individualism, and laissez-faire capitalism. To support this work, go to ariradio.com and click on the donate button. Your tax-deductible gift will help to spread the message of Ayn Rand to the next generation.
The most recent U.S. Supreme Court decision on the Affordable Care Act made one thing certain. We will all have to deal with this ever-changing law until at least 2017. If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. That's right, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating AM 560 listeners on the Affordable Care Act for the last 5 years.
Thanks, Dan. From now until January 31st, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition. Aetna, Coventry, United Healthcare, and Harkin Health no longer offer health insurance subsidies even if you qualify. One company still does, and they still offer plans that provide access to Northwestern Memorial, University of Chicago, and Rush University Medical Centers. Call me. I can help.
Thanks, Steve. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
Hi, I'm Mary Beth. I had a failed root canal, and it was causing me pain. Dr. Neruzzi took care of my tooth, and I got my implant, and then I had another after that fail, and he did that one as well. And the experience was, they were amazing. It was not painful at all like I thought it was going to be, and I was very, very, very nervous about the whole thing. Nobody enjoys getting, implants or dental work, and I procrastinated, but I had to have it done. And he took me in immediately and took care of it. And he made it really affordable. They're very accommodating to people that cannot afford to have it done. I would recommend Dr. Neruzzi to anybody, and I have given him referrals. My own sister had hers done by him.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants. Go to implantsforme.com.
For missing teeth, dental implants are wonderful. The advantages are fantastic. Just remember, implantsforme.com. Implantsforme.com.
I'm Mike Scott here with the stories we're following this morning. Anti-Trump protesters march in Chicago. A breezy, sunny day ahead. WIND Chicago News Time, 8.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. They didn't vote for Donald Trump, and they're angry. Thousands out protesting across America, some already wanting him impeached or the Electoral College abolished.
A lot of people feel victimized by Trump.
She's in New York. There in Texas, some hung or burned papier-mâché Trump heads or even burned the flag. In some cities, demonstrators blocked traffic or set fires or vandalized property. Dozens were arrested. Now, in about 2 hours, Donald Trump will go inside the Oval Office that'll be his come January. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
The much-anticipated Oval Office meeting between the president and the man who will succeed him is aimed at ensuring a peaceful transition.
And I'm looking forward to doing everything that I can to make sure that the next president is successful in that.
The president, in remarks in the Rose Garden yesterday, acknowledged that he and President-elect Donald Trump have had many differences. As a result, Mr. Trump's first face-to-face meeting with the president could be awkward. As recently as Monday, the president slammed his successor as temperamentally unfit. Dave?
John, weeks before he takes the oath, Donald Trump may be put under oath as the Trump University case moves forward back in court today. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, lawyers for the president-elect will ask a San Diego judge to exclude certain evidence in a class action lawsuit against Mr. Trump and the now defunct Trump University. They're requesting that any statements made by Mr. Trump and statements made about him during the presidential campaign be excluded. Plaintiff attorneys claim a flurry of requests from Mr. Trump's legal team are designed to stall the trial, set to begin on November 28th. Dave.
Rachel, there's a manhunt for a cop killer in Pennsylvania hours after a police officer was ambushed and murdered responding to a domestic dispute in Canonsburg. Another officer was wounded.
They are evacuating the area, so we're asking residents to please stay in your house if you're not being evacuated.
State Trooper Melinda Bondarenka, Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Sunshine in Chicago, 42 degrees. 8:02 is our time on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago police say 5 were arrested during an anti-Donald Trump protest in the city. Last night, authorities estimate up to 2,000 may have marched through downtown last night. The number has not been independently confirmed. Several dozen did climb on top of a CTA bus parked on Wacker between Wabash and Michigan. Protesters temporarily blocked traffic on Lakeshore Drive as well. Mayor Rahm Emanuel said yesterday he doesn't believe President-elect Trump will try and penalize Chicago for opposing his candidacy.
Cities today are the major economic, cultural, and intellectual energy of the economy. And it's incumbent upon an administration to see that strength and invest in it.
The mayor was outspoken in his support for Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton. Cook County Board expected to vote later today on whether to place a tax on sugary beverages. A penny an ounce tax would include drinks with zero-calorie sweeteners like diet soda. One person is in custody after an off-duty Chicago police officer exchanged gunfire with a suspect on the city's northwest side. Authorities say the shootout happened near North Albany Avenue. No one hurt. The incident remains under investigation. Chicago sports. Atlanta beat the Bulls 115-107. NHL. Blackhawks over the Blues in OT in St. Louis 2-1. Our Northern Illinois Huskies fell to Toledo at Guaranteed Rate Field 31-24 last night in Maction. The news a service of the Positive Coaching Alliance. If you have questions about your youth or high school sports, Positive Coaching Alliance has the answers. PCA, a national nonprofit organization offering more than 1,000 free online resources to inform and inspire youth and high school coaches, parents, student athletes, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Turnkey.pro from the Fox Business Network. Here's Lillian Wu.
From the Fox Business Network, the Dow expected to extend yesterday's rally at the open after closing up 256 points. World markets extending their swift rebound after being hammered by the unexpected Trump win. Attorneys for the president-elect will head to court today for a hearing involving one of 3 lawsuits over the now defunct Trump University venture. That 2010 suit filed on behalf of students who say they were defrauded. Volvo recalling 74,000 vehicles in the U.S. to fix a problem with front seat belts, which may not hold in a crash. And a peek at some Black Friday deals. Sears has the Amazon Echo for $140. Target taking $150 off the 9.7-inch iPad Pro, also shaving 25% off of Apple TVs. And Walmart's Black Friday strategy, upping inventory dedicated to online sales. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Lillian Wu.
It's 8:05, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
If you're not getting cash back for shopping, you're missing out. Download Ibotta now. IBOTTA. It's the hottest app to earn cash on everyday purchases on groceries, apparel, electronics, restaurants, and more. Just unlock, shop, and get cash. Download Ibotta today, free from the App Store, and for a limited time, get $10 just for trying it. IBOTTA. For cash back every time you shop, you've gotta Ibotta.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. See website for details.
Need some extra cash today? Do you have bad credit or maxed out credit cards? If so, turn your radio up. 35cash.com is one of the nation's largest personal loan networks with over 50 different lenders. Now you can get a personal loan for up to $5,000 with any type of credit discreetly from your computer or smartphone and with no paperwork to send in. That's right, no paperwork whatsoever. Your cash will hit your bank account as soon as tomorrow, as our lenders have millions of dollars to lend regardless of your credit history. Visit 35cash.com and you can have up to $5,000 in no time. Just have a checking account and a regular source of income and you can get the loan you need now, regardless of your credit. Go to 35cash.com from your smartphone or computer to get the cash you need. Visit 35cash.com. Type www.35cash.com directly into the address bar. That's 35cash.com. 35cash.com.
8:06. Let's get a check of the roads. AM 560 Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Traffic is packed solid on the inbound Kennedy from Harlem to the Burn Circle. It is an hour and 16 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 42 minutes from Montrose, 29 on the Express, outbound 47 minutes to O'Hare. Eden's 26 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 36. Eisenhower's an hour and 14 minutes, Thorndale to the post office. 56 minutes from Manheim outbound. It's now 47 to Manheim, an hour and 4 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 41 minutes to Ryan, 35 minutes, 95 to downtown. Tri-State southbound sluggish, 132 to 60. Northbound very slow from the Calsag Bridge to 115th. Crash on the left side. And from the 83rd Street toll to 31st and Roosevelt to the Grand Avenue curve. Adams Tollway clogged up Beverly to 53 and Bussey to Lee. Veterans Memorial jammed. I-55 most of the way to St. Charles. And from the Army Trail toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Ashley Benoit.
Windy today with plenty of sunshine, high 65. Clear skies tonight and breezy, low 44. Partly sunny and breezy tomorrow, high 51. Plenty of sunshine for Saturday, high 52. And plenty of sunshine Sunday, high 60. I'm Ashley Benoit on AM 560, The Answer.
43 at O'Hare, 46 along the lakefront. Next news, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Apple Vacations Super Sale. Book now to save up to 50% on your winter vacation to Mexico or the Caribbean.
Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Donald Trump is going to be our president. We owe him an open mind and the chance to lead.
So I have instructed my team to follow the example that President Bush's team set 8 years ago and work as hard as we can to make sure that this is a successful transition for the president-elect.
Donald Trump heard a voice out in this country that no one else heard. He connected in ways with people no one else did.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, we're in full honeymoon in certain circles. Donald Trump struck the right chords on election night. Hillary struck the right chords yesterday morning in her concession speech. President Obama struck the right chords yesterday after Hillary's concession speech, talking about the transition of power and the meeting they're going to have this afternoon.
Yeah, Donald Trump just left Trump Tower in New York. He's on his way to Washington, D.C.
And House Speaker Paul Ryan doesn't sound like a man who is about to leave his post. He was striking the right chords as well.
Donald Trump pulled off an amazing political feat. He deserves tremendous credit for that. It helped us keep our majorities. But it also showed the country that people don't like the direction we were going. We need to change direction. And what I'm excited about is we in Congress, along with our nominee, who is now the president-elect, offered a very specific and clear and coherent agenda on which direction we should take the country. And that is now the direction we're going to go. And that's why I'm excited about working with our president-elect, working with our vice president-elect on the transition to make sure that we hit the ground running.
Sorry, Merrick Garland, you're not going to be a Supreme Court justice.
Oh, I know. I bet he was really disappointed.
But not everybody took the defeat with such grace. Not everybody took it in stride, did they?
No, they didn't. 25 cities, protesters, took part in rallies. They tried to shut down certain streets. In L.A., they shut down the 101, which was a big deal. And they lit, a Donald Trump head on fire and all this stuff. Make America Great. In Sacramento, they had paper plates and wrote no on them in red marker because the kiddies are mad, and they want a redo.
And so are the young people.
Yeah, exactly. And they want to do this. And they want a redo.
Hillary had more votes. More human beings voted for Hillary. This isn't fair. This country needs you to stand up and walk into the Supreme Court and say one vote equals one vote.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that little gentleman's tantrum, but I'm sorry, sir, that's not how it works. I don't know how to break it to you.
The millennials, they're angry. The kiddies are mad. The natives are getting restless. No, that wasn't.
No,
he was a millennial, or a.k.a. a hipster.
No.
You saw this incredibly qualified woman to be president being superseded by a man who has no qualifications at all for the office.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about this? Part of the group of losers on Tuesday night, the D.C. press corps, hoist by their own petard. There's a couple of pieces to this argument about the press being responsible for the demise of their position, right? They fueled Donald Trump in the primary with coverage, thought, he was going to be the weakest candidate. We want the Trump-Hillary matchup because we'll all make a lot of money because it'll be so...
Well, it's must-watch TV.
And then our person will win, and it didn't quite work out that way. Howard Kurtz has a piece on Fox News, but I'd rather go to Thomas Frank. Because Thomas Frank, the author of What's the Matter with Kansas, he's an academic. He's a man of the left. And he writes this. Clinton supporters among the media didn't help much. It always struck me as strange that such an unpopular candidate enjoyed such robust and unanimous endorsements from the editorial and opinion pages of the nation's papers, but it was the quality of the media's enthusiasm that really harmed Hillary. With the same arguments repeated over and over 2 or 3 times a day with nuance and contrary views all deleted, the act of opening the newspaper started to feel like tuning into a Cold War propaganda station. Here's what it consisted of. Hillary was virtually without flaws. She was a peerless leader clad in saintly white, a super lawyer, a caring benefactor of women and children, a warrior for social justice. Her scandals weren't real. The economy was doing well. America was already great. Working class people weren't supporting Trump. And if they were, it was only because they were botched humans. Racism was the only conceived reason for lining up with the Republican candidate. How did the journalist crusade fail? The Fourth Estate came together in an unprecedented professional consensus. They chose insulting the other side over trying to understand what motivated them. They transformed opinion writing into a vehicle for high moral boasting. What could possibly have gone wrong with such an approach? I think that nails it. I think it really does. And so for all of the caterwauling coming from the D.C. press corps and the Fourth Estate around the country, it's just like the leftists in academia and in corporate America and in Hollywood. Take a good, strong look in the mirror because you are responsible in large measure for what you did not want to happen on Tuesday.
I just thought that since they were the Clintons, that they were going to get what they wanted one more time. That, they were above the law with any FBI investigation. So, yeah, I was shocked. And I still... until Hillary Clinton said this, that's when it really sank in.
I still believe in America, and I always will. And if you do, then we must accept this result and then look to the future. Donald Trump is going to be our president. We owe him an open mind and the chance to lead.
She still believes in America. That must mean she and Bill have another scheme cooking.
Well, they do, but she's also here to help Donald Trump.
Last night, I congratulated Donald Trump and offered to work with him on behalf of our country.
Yeah, I mean, it's the pro forma statements you're supposed to make, and she made them, and that's fine. But, I mean, let's...
But are they done? I mean, what...
Let's not recast our understanding of who she is and what that hillbilly house of cards she's a part of is all about.
Well, do you think they're going to still have the Clinton Foundation? I'm sure their speaking fees are going to go down dramatically.
Yeah,
I'm sure their charitable donations are going to go down dramatically.
They're still pretty flush. You think they're going to not maintain that and spend every last dollar that's available at present and perhaps try and cobble together more through, the alliances they still have with a lot of these elite institutions.
Do you think she'll run again in 4 years?
No.
Or is this too soon to even ask?
I hope so.
Do you think Chelsea's going to run someday?
I don't know.
Start off with a congressional seat, then move up to senator, and then...
I don't know enough about her other than she's a terrible reporter. That's really all I know about her.
Horrible reporter.
Yeah, terrible.
God, I can't believe she got a job on Nightly News. 6 packages, $100,000 a pop. She made $650,000. Wow.
Like I said, friends in the elite institutions. Bob in Waukegan, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I'm in a basement. Can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
You in the bunker? What's going on?
Do you need help?
I'm a house painter. I just went downstairs to get the paint.
Oh, okay.
Plato said, when dialogue is lost, slander becomes the tool of the loser.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what has taken place in this election. Is we're all racists, homophobes, Islamophobes, babyphobes, whatever phobes, whatever their delusional minds can think of. I loved the last few days. I actually listened to National Public Radio for a while just so I could hear everybody whine.
Yeah.
You know, when President Obama took over as president and they asked him whether he was going to consult with George W. Bush, he said, he's a loser, and the next day they just said, they told all the Republicans, get over it, you lost.
That's right.
So I would say the exact same things to the whining, sniveling, let's see, what is it? They need their safe rooms and trigger warnings. Crawl back under your sheets and come out in about 30 years. But start listening to conservative talk radio, and you might grow a pair and learn how to reason instead of how to be indoctrinated.
Thanks for the call,
Thank you so
Bob,
much.
and I appreciate any painter who can quote Plato. Very nicely done. In addition to what Bob said, remember the confab over Obamacare in the beginning, too, when John McCain was chided about elections having consequences. The election is over, Senator McCain, said President Obama. Just remember that. Mm-hmm. It comes full circle. You want to run roughshod over people? Well, when the tables turn on you, just remember what you did, and you can see if people will rise above such pettiness or will act in kind. I hope it's the former, but don't be surprised if it's not. Bob on the Northwest Side. Hey, Bob.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you for taking my call. I just wondered if you or Amy had any insight into whether the Obama phones are going to be shut down soon.
Thanks for the call, Bob. I don't know. I know some people would be unhappy if they are shut down.
Well, people yesterday were worried about Obama phones and link cards and all that and welfare states. What do you look?
Do we have the Obama
Where's the Obama phone lady? Oh, wait. We'll get it for you in 2 seconds. But yeah, people are concerned, and nothing's going. And then I've people concerned too that they're going to revoke same-sex marriages. That everybody who has a same-sex marriage license, that's going to be null and void.
Mm-hmm. Mark in Plainfield.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And let me be the first one to say Duckworth in 2020. Why re-elect a quack when you could have the duck? Anyway, I think all these mobsters are showing how unhinged the left really is. They don't care about the democracy. They're all about mob rule and intimidation. And if the shoe is on the other foot, I doubt the Trump supporters would be protesting like this. We'd be too busy going to our jobs.
There you go. Thanks for the call, Mark. And we're going to have to workshop the Tammy Duckworth for President campaign slogan, but appreciate you looking ahead.
She's having a beer tomorrow with Mark Kirk at the Billy Goat. You want to go? We can get a Schlitz or a Schlitz Dark at the bar and
the most uninteresting happy hour in Chicago tomorrow. Kenneth in Miami.
Hello?
Hey, Kenneth.
Hello.
Hello?
Kenneth, you're on.
Okay, we got to get into it. Whether she leave in an orange jumpsuit or a white straitjacket, the song is, hey, hey, ho, ho. Hillary, you got to go.
Thanks, Kenneth. Kenneth's still celebrating. Miami is a fun town. Bill on the north side.
Yeah, I was just wondering where Hillary's morals are, because she offered to help President Trump in the transition, and she's going to lower herself to work with a racist, a Ku Klux Klan president,
Yeah.
a homophobe, a xenophobe, a sexist, and he's probably a Sox fan. But he's going to lower her morals. That's how much morals she has. She's just looking for another government job.
Thanks for the call, Bill. Yeah, it's interesting, right? Everything that's said and all the accusations, and then we go through this dance. And I understand the transition of power and all that stuff, but pretending like there's going to be constructive engagement here is, just more of kind of the political duplicity that people despise. You don't think people see through this? Yes, you have to be gracious.
You have to be, right.
You have to be
Just
gracious
give
in
them the
defeat.
keys to the house. Like, this is where, here's the bathrooms here.
You have to be gracious in defeat. I was when I
Right.
lost my race.
Well,
but
how was your concession speech, Dan?
it was brilliant.
Well-
I quoted Browning. But she, just all the kind of the sophistry. And it's like they're projecting class they don't actually possess on a daily basis, I guess is my point.
Yeah, but after he meets with President Obama, he's going to meet with Paul Ryan and Mike Pence.
Yeah, it's good.
That'll be good.
Chop, chop. Chris in Milwaukee.
You know what? The Hillary 3 a.m. phone call, it ended up being her to Trump.
Nicely done, Chris. I'm going to have to steal that. Sean from Elmwood Park.
I hate to ruin the painter's thing, but slander was also the weapon of the victor in this case. So roll that up and stick that in Plato's toga. Another know-it-all Greek in a dress. I've had enough of this nonsense. But
Speaking of know-it-all goofs.
Look at the states and where this happened. I didn't listen to you, Pee Wee Herman. It's like not even noise to me. So
the attack on my wardrobe coming from a guy who still shops at Chess King
Please, you
is
look,
a little
you look
bit.
like you fell out of a J.C. Penney magazine, like a 10th grader.
Make
Anyway,
your
listen,
point, Sean from Elmwood Park.
Look at the states that this happens in. These democratic socialist strongholds. We now know that thanks to Creamer, they're getting paid. They got
Creamy
text
Bob.
messages. And what good does it do? What did Jan Schakowsky, another Democrat who should wash her face in a bidet, well, how much did she win by? 40 points, 50 points? Because these self-loathing socialist trust fund babies are going to punch the D ticket every time. And they take to the streets. You have to give them credit. They're sore losers. And that's what we need to be more, even when it comes from our side. So when Paul Ryan, little guy from Woody from Toy Story, gets up and he kisses Big Donald's derriere, you're who they were rejecting. As you kept spending the money, as you kept voting for the continuing resolutions, as you kept okaying the regulations, the IRS and the FDA, you, Woody. So until you're gone, I'm not going to stop. This is no victory for anybody who
All
really
right.
wants liberty.
All right, Sean. Thanks for the call. There's one vote for being a sore loser.
You got Obama phone?
Yes, everybody in Cleveland, low minority, got Obama phone. Keep Obama in president, you know. He gave us a phone.
He gave you a
He gonna
phone.
do more.
How'd he give you a phone?
You sign up if you on food stamps, you on Social Security, you got low income, you disability.
High of 65 today. Let's get those travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Ahead of Veterans Day, with heavy delays on the Veterans Memorial, 355. It's jammed southbound from 290 to St. Charles and northbound from I-55 most of the way to St. Charles and from the Army Trail toll to 290. The Edens is 25 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 34. The Kennedy, an hour and 13 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 52 minutes. The Ike, an hour and 11 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 57 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40 minutes. Ryan is 33 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound slow, 132 to 60. Northbound from the 83rd Street toll to 31st and Roosevelt to Grand Avenue. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Hey, with ChicagoRadioDeals.com, seeing is believing, and you have to see the deal from Vision One LASIK Center. Get LASIK surgery on both eyes at their state-of-the-art center in Lombard. Forget this, only $1,750. That's normally a $3,800 deal. So start with a consultation at any one of the Vision One LASIK centers in Arlington Heights, Chicago, or Lombard. Vision One is a private practice with LASIK specialist Dr. Brand, Dr. Martin, and Dr. Berger. Hey, are you ready for this hot deal? Bikram Yoga of Rolling Meadows has 10 class packages at their beautiful studios on Hicks Road. I've been there, Dan. You should try it. Bikram Yoga is a series of 26 yoga postures and 2 breathing exercises. It is taught in a 90-minute class in a 105-degree setting. Oh, you'll be sure to perspire. Now, this package retails for $130. It is only $50 at CRD. So look into open group training, too, for your child athlete or adult boot camp classes for your best body from MFC Sports Performance in Darien. All of these healthy deals and much more can be found only at ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
A couple years ago, I had a severe accident which disabled my right hand and caused chronic pain. I did not want to deal with the side effects of pain meds. There is absolutely no reason to suffer. There are ways to find a solution and get off the drugs. I definitely believe Dr. Candido found that for me, and immediately, he sat down with me, really wanted to find the source of the pain and really fix me. And, I've seen many doctors in my lifetime, obviously with this accident, but I have to say Dr. Kenneth Candido, he cares about me. It's changed my life. I absolutely would recommend Dr. Kenneth Candido. There is a light at the end of the tunnel.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. If you or someone you love or someone you know has chronic pain, contact us. Treating chronic pain issues is what we do. We can make it better. Get an appointment and let's talk. MyPainChicago.com, MyPainChicago.com. All the info is available at MyPainChicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
They came from every corner of the country, from small towns and big cities. But they all shared one thing in common. They belonged to a family called Marines. A tough and determined few dedicated to protecting everything we hold sacred. And still, they come. Celebrate the history of those proud few who have earned the title Marine.
The United States Postal Service knows holiday wish lists better than Santa himself. Really?
Dear Santa, this year I've been really good. Like, really, really good. And that's why I'd like a hippo hat, hippo gloves, and hippo sunglasses. And maybe a hippo coloring book.
During the holidays, we deliver, especially when it comes to hippos. In fact, we deliver more online purchases to homes than anyone else in the country. No matter what's on your wish list, our priority is you.
Every bowling alley has 10 pins. But if your idea of bowling is more than just how many pins you knock down, 10 Pin is the place for you. Sure, they have 24 state-of-the-art lanes, but they're also a comfortable upscale lounge with great music, delicious food, and a tempting drink list. To say nothing of their 128-foot video wall. Now that's bowling. If the pins don't go down as easily as the martinis, burgers, and conversation, don't worry. That's only part of the fun. So enjoy your next group outing at 10 Pin, downtown Chicago next to the House of Blues. Check them out at 10pinchicago.com. Go for the bowling or just go for everything else.
Raj Shah, host of Secure Retirement Radio. You don't have to go underwater anymore. You don't need to go down in that hole with your portfolio and dig yourself out. You can actually put a floor so you never go down ever again and get into a strategy where you just continue to make growth. So not only that your principal is protected, but whatever gains you make, those are protected as well.
Tune in for Secure Retirement Radio with Raj Shah, Sunday mornings at 7 here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan Proft here, gentlemen. It's Movember. Yes, another month to remind us to take better care of our health. Many of us are going to grow mustaches this month, but hey, why not go to a doctor that you can trust too? I personally recommend going to the licensed medical providers at Low T Center. They're friends of mine you can trust at Low T Center. They know we hate going to the doctor. That's why they make it quick and easy. And with their on-site lab, you'll get your results back in 20 minutes. They even accept most health insurance and have flexible hours, including hours on Saturdays. And right now, in honor of Movember, Low T Center is offering a testosterone and prostate level test for just $50. It's a great time to get your levels checked, especially if you don't have insurance or if you haven't met your deductible yet. Call 630-409-4305. That's 630-409-4305. Give my friends at Low T Center a call and tell them I sent you. Call 630-409-4305 or visit them online at lowtcenter.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The man who predicted it from the outset, a Trump victory based on Trump's communication mastery. He is Dilbert cartoonist Scott Adams, and he joins us at 8:38.
And how one Cubs player is slowly convincing Dan Proft to become a Cub fan. We'll tell you why. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
43. One of two police officers shot earlier today near Pittsburgh is dead. Both officers were shot during a SWAT team situation in the town of Cannonsburg, about 20 miles southwest of Pittsburgh. Police have told people who live in that area to stay in their homes. Schools are closed as the manhunt continues for a suspect. President Obama and President-elect Donald Trump will meet at the White House today. The president yesterday noting big differences with Trump, but pledging a smooth and successful transition of power.
President Bush and I had some pretty significant differences. But President Bush's team could not have been more professional or more gracious in making sure we had a smooth transition.
Angry protests broke out across the country against President-elect Trump in New York, L.A., and Chicago. President-elect Trump appears to have won the state of Michigan, the closest presidential vote in that state's history. Unofficial results released early this morning by the Secretary of State's office there show Trump with a 13,225 vote edge over Hillary Clinton. World markets are bouncing back. Investors getting used to the idea of a Trump presidency. Asian markets closing sharply higher. Japan's prime minister will meet with Donald Trump later this week as the Nikkei surged almost 1,100 points. Chicago Public Schools finances taking another hit. Standard & Poor's downgrading the district's credit rating from B+ to B. Cook County Board expected to vote later today on whether to place a tax on sugary beverages. County Board President Tony Preckwinkle believes the new financial charge would help close a budget gap. Jimmy Butler, 39, and the Bulls lost to Atlanta, 115-107. Artemi Panarin, the game winner, as the Blackhawks beat St. Louis 2-1. The news service of Cap Fusion. Need funding for your small business? Move forward with Cap Fusion, a lending partner you can trust. Quick, honest loans, no hassle, no pressure, no hidden fees. Call Cap Fusion, 312-423-7990, or visit capfusion.com and discover a better loan for your business. 8:32, check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The voters have spoken, and after a long and contentious campaign, Donald Trump has been elected our 45th president.
Now it's time for America to bind the wounds of division.
What happens next for America?
We will begin the urgent task of rebuilding our nation and renewing the American dream.
Happens here.
It's going to be a beautiful thing.
This is AM 560.
Nothing we want for our future is beyond our reach.
The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gavalis, Joshi, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
Our time is 8:34. That means it's time for an update on the roads in our AM 560 traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. We're seeing big delays in St. Charles at Roosevelt and Randall. The traffic lights aren't working properly. The Edens, 26 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 33. Inbound Kennedy delays start at Harlem. Hour and 13 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 41 minutes from Montrose, 30 in the Express. Outbound 28 to Montrose, 52 to the airport. The Eisenhower, an hour and 14 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. 48 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 51 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 6 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 38 minutes. Ryan, 31 minutes, 95 to downtown. Tri-State southbound still 132 to 60. Northbound from the 83rd Street toll to 31st and Roosevelt to Grand. Adams tollway delays. Beverly to Roselle and Bussey to Lee. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Breezy today, plenty of sunshine and a high of 65. Clear and breezy, 44 overnight. Currently, we have 43. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. A couple of other interesting notes. We got a tweet, excuse me. The Javits Center where Hillary was supposed to have her victory party.
Yeah.
Donald Trump's first Manhattan real estate project.
Really?
How interesting is that? I didn't know that. That's very interesting.
Well, she
Thanks
chose
for the tweet.
chose the venue because of the glass ceiling. And then when she realized she wasn't going to win, she changed venues to wait till the morning to have it at a New York hotel.
There's also an interesting piece in the New York Times about the campaign and some disagreement internally between Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton campaign aides. Listen to this. Mrs. Clinton's campaign refused to accede to Bill Clinton's suggestions, explaining to the organizers that white Catholics were not the audience she needed to spend time reaching out to.
I think she's rethinking that this morning, don't you?
Trump ended up winning Catholics 52-45, according to exit polling I've seen. Also, this paragraph is very interesting. And she ceded the white working class voters who backed Mr. Clinton in 1992. Though she would never have won this demographic, her husband insisted that her campaign aides do more to try to cut into Mr. Trump's support with these voters. They declined, reasoning that she was better off targeting college-educated suburban voters by hitting Mr. Trump on his temperament and also, by extension, his comments on women and so forth. Tactical errors. But the problem is the campaign may have been right, that group was unreachable by the time Hillary Clinton got around to him because they were jettisoned by Barack Obama 8 years ago. Mitt Romney failed to bring them into the fold 4 years ago. That's why he lost. Donald Trump didn't. That's in large measure why he won.
According to Karl Rove yesterday on Fox News, he said that 4 million fewer Americans voted this election cycle than 4 years ago. And then they broke down the vote. Among African Americans, Obama received 93%. Hillary received 88%. And among Latinos, 71% voted for Barack and only 65% voted for Hillary. So they also, 1 in 3 Latino voters voted for Donald Trump, which
it's not
a lot
monolithic.
of people didn't think was going to happen because of comments that he made.
It's a much less monolithic vote. Latinos that are differently situated in this country, second, third generation, different perspectives than first generation.
Mm-hmm.
It's more complicated than you hear from the pundit class, which has been largely discredited per this election cycle. And that's good news, too. But one man who has not been discredited because he was well ahead of the learning curve on Donald Trump and his communication style is Dilbert cartoon creator Scott Adams, who joins us again now. Scott, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So, take a lap of victory. Take a victory lap here. You had this sussed out. Were you surprised at all on Tuesday night?
Well, it was a surreal experience. I'm not sure if I could call it a surprise because I'd been predicting it for a year solid. But as soon as it happened, I realized that I wasn't so special because, half of the country who voted for him also probably thought he had a really good chance of winning.
Right.
So for a while, I thought it was pretty special until I realized half of the country was doing exactly the same thing, thinking, hey, he could win.
One of the things, there's a piece by Holman Jenkins in the Wall Street Journal today, and it kind of recounts this little phrase that Selena Zito in New York Post came up with about Trump and his communication style, and it's that people who are looking for something of a change agent took Trump seriously, but not literally, with respect to some of the things he said. And that seems to be a critically important distinction that was lost on the D.C. press corps.
Yeah, I think the second part of that was that Trump's opponents were taking him literally, but not seriously.
Right.
So every time he said something that was easy to interpret a bad way, they would do just that. So, yeah, I think we don't know exactly what we got with Trump, which is part of the excitement because he doesn't have a track record in government. So I think everybody woke up and just realized that we don't know exactly what's going to happen.
And
we do know he's insanely effective I mean, he's reformed the Republican Party. He's gutted the entire Democratic Party, and who knows what else he can do.
Yeah, the power of persuasion, though. And you wrote an article about how Clinton's team tried really hard to frame Donald Trump as scary, but nobody believed it.
Well, I think people did think that Trump was very scary, and when she was going with the full scare approach, that was very effective. But as soon as the Access Hollywood tape came out, as bad as that was, as appalling as that was, it drew everybody's attention away from thinking he was the scariest person in the world and was going to blow up the entire planet, fiery ball of nuclear whatever. But as soon as you started thinking, well, there's also this, allegations from the Access Hollywood tape, even though those are more interesting and even though that's appalling, it's not as scary because you don't think that he's going to come to your house and, try to kiss you without permission. so you do think he might blow up the world and you're part of the world, but he's not going to try to kiss you. And it's also one of those scandals that once it sinks in, you realize, well, was there anybody in the country who didn't think that Donald Trump had done at least one thing in his private life that would appall you? What are the odds that he had done nothing that would appall you if you knew everything he'd done privately? There was really no chance of that. So to some extent, even though the specific appalling things he did we didn't know about and they're hard to hear, you thought he probably did something that you didn't like. And the fact that you didn't like one thing might be different than somebody else not liking something else. But surely in every person's life, there's something you don't like. So I think that people just got used to it after a while because our tolerance for scandals we got so high by the end of the election cycle that I think a new one was coming out about every day or so. And in a normal election, if the Access Hollywood tape had been the only thing that happened, it would have been completely disqualifying for anybody, even Trump. But there was just so much going on, it got lost in the noise.
And a lot of people attribute to Trump's success to the celebrity culture, and there's certainly a part of that. He entered the race with a very high name ID because he was this reality TV star. But you dig a little deeper. I mean, it's not just any international celebrity that could do what he did, what you've just described him doing, all the way to winning the presidency. It's the way he communicates. And I wonder now, not that he'll have such a hold on Congress, but because he seems to have somewhat of a hold on an important percentage of the American electorate, if his style will continue because it puts Congress under immense pressure to comport with his agenda.
Well, he's got a Republican Congress. The Senate and the House are going to be Republican. So he's going into a situation where a lot of people said, how could he possibly govern? But he may have one of the easiest situations to govern that we've seen in a while. And you add that with his insane persuasive skills and his willingness to go a little further than other people will go in terms of how much he's willing to twist an arm, how much he's willing to do to get his way. So I think that's a strong combination. Whether you think that's good or bad, I think his ability to govern is going to be pretty good. You saw all the foreign heads of states fall in line and say, yeah, we can work with him. You saw Paul Ryan practically giddy with excitement about how he thinks he can work with him. So I think he's going to be unusually effective, and that may be exactly the opposite of what people expected.
Do you think for the sake of unity that he will not do what he said on the campaign trail and assign a special prosecutor to look into Hillary Clinton's emails and the Clinton Foundation?
That's a really interesting question because he hasn't had to deal with something this complicated before, which is, who knows if doing what might be called the right thing and giving her a party and just making it easy on the country, who knows if that really would make the country happy at this point? Because so much has been unearthed about her activities, and there were so many of them. It's not like it was one thing. I think if she had done one thing, that would be easy to pardon. But if it's a whole pattern of things, that gets a little dicier. It doesn't look like justice at that point.
The responsibility of the D.C. press corps, old media, if you will, for Donald Trump's victory, inadvertent, by setting up kind of this false narrative. Thomas Frank writes about this. A couple others do, including Howard Kurtz as well today. The media's responsibility for this, kind of hoist by their own petard, because they set up this false narrative that just didn't jibe with the reality on the ground for so many people of Hillary Clinton being this white knight without flaw and Donald Trump being this troglodyte. And if you were for the troglodyte, then the only reason you could be is because you suffer from the same infirmities that he does. And people sized that up and said that's bunk, and perhaps it galvanized people to Trump even more so.
I think maybe that takes one more leap of thinking than I would give people credit for. In the end, people line up for their political party. People decide if you look like them. People decide how you make them feel. And I think it's some combination of all that. So, in the end, it probably would have been a close race because Republicans were going to vote Republican no matter who was running, vice versa. And probably there were only, maybe 10% of the people who were really in play after all. And that came down to persuasion, I think. And the media was a big part of that. But I don't think people overthought it. I don't think people said, hey, I'm seeing on TV something different than what I'm observing in my real life. And therefore I make a decision. I think they just felt that was about it.
All right. He is Scott Adams, Dilbert cartoonist, of course. Scott, thanks so much. And I should mention, too, licensed hypnotist, right?
Yes. I'm a certified hypnotist.
Certified hypnotist and a studier, a student studier. What is that?
Studier.
A student
making up words
in the art of communication, which apparently I am not. Scott Adams, thanks so much for joining us again. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, man.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Plenty of sunshine today. It's going to be a little breezy, a high of 65 degrees. Wow. Tonight, clear and breezy, a low of 44. And, it doesn't look bad for the next 3 days. We're going to have plenty of sunshine and warm conditions for this time of year. A high tomorrow of 51. Let's get into the traffic center and say good morning again to Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy and Dan. Amy, your inbound Kennedy's not getting better. It's just a solid mess from Nagel to the Hubbard Street Tunnel. It is an hour and 17 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 46 minutes from Montrose, 31 on the Express, outbound 49 to the airport. Eden's 26 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 33. The Eisenhower, an hour and 14 minutes, Thorndale to the post office. 48 minutes from Manheim, outbound 51 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 9 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound still 137 to Atkinson. Northbound 83rd to 31st and Roosevelt to Grand. Veterans Memorial gummed up from Boughton most of the way to St. Charles and from the Army Trail toll to 290. Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Licensed in all states. Product availability varies. Agents may be compensated on enrollment.
Michael Stahl is my guest. He's the vice president of Health Markets. Health Markets is trying to make this crazy Medicare system easier to understand. Would you explain how it works?
So Health Markets offers a free service with access to thousands of Medicare plans nationwide to help folks maximize their benefits and save their money. Enrollment in the right plan is not automatic. With so many Medicare options out there, it can be confusing. So my advice is to don't go it alone. Get unbiased help to help find a plan. It may cost less, it may cover more, with lower co-payments, more choices like dental and vision care, and the freedom to see the doctors you choose. Best of all, Medicare assistance is free. Our licensed agents can do the work for you, making the process really easy. The Medicare enrollment deadline is only weeks away, so it's important to act now.
Call Health Markets today.
For your free Medicare assistance, call 800-246-3290. That's 800-246-3290. 800-246-3290.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had gout in both my knees, and it's gone.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. Best thing I ever got in my. It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years.
He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
They're just awesome. They keep asking me, what am I doing? I told them what I did with my cholesterol. I had the blood test, right? And it went down 100 points. 262, now it's 162. Everything is just perfect.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Call now, 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, I got to introduce you to this guy. How about this? A GOP street artist. This guy named Sabo created an ad campaign for celebrities that are in Hollywood. Fake Sotheby's advertisements on bus benches around Hollywood. For example, Sotheby's, a picture of Trump and Cher. Sotheby's Cher Sarkeesian moving to Jupiter, Election Day sale of her home. Sotheby's for Lena Dunham moving to Canada, Election Day sale. Sotheby's little yard sign, Miley Cyrus moving to Canada, election sale. Barbara Streisand moving to Australia, Election Day sale. Amy Schumer moving to Canada. Jon Stewart, Bryan Cranston, all these. These are great. Sabo, the website on these fake advertisements, the street art, GTFOOH.today. Get the F out of here today is what that stands
That's
for.
what that stands for.
And Sabo he told the Hollywood Reporter, and by the way, why the hell aren't these people moving to Mexico? Too many short brown people for their liking down there? Not white enough? I created these mock Sotheby bench advertisements to help them along their way, letting people know their homes are on the market. How about it?
That's good. And somebody else that's jumping into that conversation is our Cubs star pitcher, Jake Arrieta. He tweeted, and it's J Arrieta 34. That's his Twitter handle, right? He tweeted, quote, "Time for Hollywood to pony up and head for the border. Hashtag I'll help you pack. Hashtag beat it."
That's awesome.
I mean, it's great.
I'll tell you what, Jake Arrieta is my favorite Cub, and that's a phrase I don't ever use.
Twitter followers were so one now I'm going to be a Cardinals fan.
Yeah, okay.
And that, too soon, pretty much, we're still in pain.
How
but
about this?
All those, I mean, seriously, the only person who actually mentioned moving was your guy, the actor that you love. Yes,
Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston, yeah.
Other people did too. Other people said, I'm going to leave the country.
Right, but I mean,
they do every election cycle.
Liam Dunham said that she's moving to Vancouver.
Good. I hope she enjoys it.
And the website for the Canadian immigration process actually crashed when Trump results were coming in and he was winning.
It was
we crashed it.
Crashed under the weight of Lena Dunham. Also tweeting, Ryan Mundy, former Chicago Bear, he actually had a series of thoughtful tweets on the election, and those are surprised about the outcome. And, of course, he was excoriated by the thoughtless, because that's what happens on social media. But Ryan Mundy tweeted, among other things, this: "Clearly, there's another America existing that, due to algorithms, we've become unaware of. There are outliers here and there, but generally your social media interactions are with people who are just like you and share similar views. So I believe it's a shock to a lot of people that Trump won because they became victim to a limited view of the world. Get out of your bubble, learn, grow, experience. Becoming insulated leads to a major blind spot." It's not even taking a position on Trump. He's just explaining what happened. And, of course, people that are the Hillary leftist, intolerant, small-minded hysterics descended upon him. But that's an intelligent comment from former Chicago Bear Ryan Mundy as well. So it's nice to see Chicago sports figures weighing in a positive, thoughtful, and even entertaining way, like a Jake Arrieta. Almost enough to make me become a Cubs fan.
Well, I'm sorry, what? You're breaking up. What did you say?
Almost enough to make me become a Cubs fan. Almost.
Hey there, this is Eric Metaxas. Lately, I've been telling you about Liberty University's online degree programs. Liberty University is the world's largest Christian university with over 95,000 students studying around the world through Liberty's online programs. While there are a lot of universities who've jumped into online education, few can deliver on the promise of a quality education with such flexibility, and even fewer can actually point to a graduate of their online program like my friend Morgan from Nashville.
I did it. I